Good evening, everybody. It's David Schlotthauer here. I hope you all are having a fantastic Sunday evening here on the 8th day of September. I can't believe it's already been a full week since we started September, and wow, it's definitely a lot different September than what we had just a week ago. We actually have a area of interest, potential tropical cyclone number 6. Number 6 on our list of named storms. Well, it's not named yet, but it will be very soon, probably by tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, as this develops over the Bay of Campeche in the Gulf of Mexico. And speaking of September 8th, we're just only 2 days shy of the peak of the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. And so we are definitely getting some activity going right now as the peak approaches. It's not the peak yet. We're still on that uphill trend here with the season. Sorry if I'm sweating, folks. It is warm today. I guess the forecast overperformed or underperformed because our temperatures ended up being warmer today. Reached 100 degrees outside today where I'm at. The forecast high was only going to be 94 degrees, so it definitely ended up being a lot warmer. But also what's really on the hot side is PTC number 6. Here's an infrared satellite imagery. Tropical Tidbits and some other websites are acting up. Let me actually see if it's just Tropical Tidbits with its satellite imagery product that is acting up. Okay, so we can look at this then. So let me put this up. Yes, I have so many windows. That's the whole shenanigans here with the channel, with all these different tabs that I have open. I mean, I have a whole list of them up on the top here, and so yeah, I'm gonna try my best at doing a lot of or covering this very well. And by the way, the title does say this tropical storm just got worse, and I will tell you why it just got worse. I'm not just doing this for hype, for fun and games. No, it got worse. And a big hurricane may be coming around the corner, and we will talk more about that. All right, so here's a look at the satellite imagery, and we can see as I play this through, very, very different system than what we had last night. In fact, if we go down here and just look at 2 nanodes in time, we can see that this is how the system of all evolved, really active to begin with, and really emerged. And I mean, just all of this deep convection. This is a very healthy look and a very aggressive look at a tropical wave, even a closed low at this point. And most recently, this is really just a pain in the rear end. This system, very, very strong, generating very intense deep convection. And if you look very closely, you could even see some shock waves emanating out of this. You can see the shock waves very closely. You could see some of the shock waves emanating out, and you can even see the overshooting tops here of cloud cover. In fact, some of the infrared is picking up cloud tops as cold as negative 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That's really deep. That is nothing to mess with. And so we have really, really intense overshooting tops here. Lots of lightning strikes. I believe the recon mission, they only could do one pass through here, and they had to get the heck out of there because there was a lot of lightning over the system. And there still is very intense CDO or a semi-CDO. We go forward. Here's more deep convection yet again, popping up again, and looks like it might be trying to get a little bit more better organized. So this could be evolving really quickly, and I'm not surprised by that because we have a very strong barrier jet on the western side of the Gulf of Mexico. I wish I could show it to you here. Not on this sector. Maybe if I can pick up another sector. This is a little bit better. So I just had dinner before making this stream. Now, when we take a look here, you can see that barrier jet, very strong north wind. In fact, some observations and on my storm app, I don't know how accurate that is measuring winds here of about 40 to 50 miles an hour. Recon found winds of almost 60 miles an hour to the southwest of the circulation. So, yeah, a very strong tropical, well, semi-tropical, not tropical storm declared yet, but it is very close. Once that circulation closes off, we are going to have a strong tropical storm with winds of 50 to 70 miles an hour. You can see that barrier jet coming in out of the north. Look at that. You even see the circulation here. That was originally Invest 90L, not an Invest anymore, and it's now paired up with what is left with 91L, that is now PTC number 6. And so this is generating, once again, very deep convection. And when we look at the visible satellite imagery here before the sun sets, you could really get definition of these overshooting tops, this outflow, semi-intense outflow coming off of this. And this is a sign that the system is very aggressive. We have a lot of upward motion going on in the atmosphere, enough to generate such overshooting tops like this. And most importantly, we have a lot of lightning strikes, enough to where I believe the recon mission was canceled. They did fly through the center once, and then they had to get their butts out of there because there was so much electrical or lightning activity, and you do not want a lightning to strike an airplane or a recon C-130, an Air Force Teal mission like that. It's very dangerous. So they had to get out of there because of how intense this is. Just to go to show you that, okay? So now, when we look at the infrared imagery, again, we don't, it's not working on Tropical Tidbits or on some other websites, so we're going to just have to use windy.com. There's a link in the description. If not, I will put it in the chat. So here it is, windy.com. It is a very good website where you can view these images. And I think I like this a little bit better because you could actually click anywhere on the map and you can actually have a readout to you. So over this whole area, we have negative 100 Fahrenheit cloud tops. That is really cold. And especially over here with some new deep convection, we have negative 130 degree cloud tops. That is really, really, really cold. We have another overshooting top here. So yeah, this is very deep. And and am I live? Am I live, folks? Great. Let me know if I'm live. I hope I'm live. I just saw the chat saying hit refresh. So I don't know what is going on. Okay. So okay, I'm live. Okay. Yeah, it just all screens went black for a second. So I just want to make sure everything is running good. I hope it's not my video card. That would be terrible. Or my graphics card. A lot of the computer problems these days. But a big problem with this system. So lots of deep convection on this. So this is definitely trying hard. I call it teething. So it's like it's trying. She's trying, she's flexing her muscles, and we will see what this is going to look like by tomorrow when I do my next live stream and my next video. So with that being said, we're going to be looking at the models. Do you guys want me to look at the models first, or do you want me just to get straight into the NHC products? Please let me know in the chat. Because I'm telling you folks, when I mean bad news, I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm telling you, we've got some bad news to share with you. This tropical storm just got worse, and we could be looking at a big hurricane in the Gulf. I'm not joking when I say that. All right. Models, okay. So we will, let me do this. So let me move all of these tabs over first. So let me just move everything over to make sure. Which, by the way, on Zoom Earth, we do have, this is a 50-mile-an-hour tropical storm, or see, I always say tropical storm, but it's not. It's a potential tropical cyclone. I could almost say tropical storm at this point, because every time I think I'm going to say potential tropical cyclone, I always say tropical storm. Semi-tropical storm, semi-not. It doesn't matter at this point. It has 50-mile-an-hour winds. So I'm going to walk you through just like I did last night with all of the global models, but we're adding a couple more to the mix here, okay? And then we're going to be looking at our hurricane models, okay? This is very serious. Our hurricane models are actually going up. They're trending upwards. So for a lot of people that are in Louisiana, Mississippi, not really Mississippi, but Louisiana especially, Beaumont, Texas, Houston, Texas. Yeah, you definitely, if you're in that area, you need to be tuning into this. And also, make sure you guys share this with your family and friends, all right? Because, again, sharing this helps the YouTube algorithm blow this out to a larger audience. The larger the audience, the more we can get the word out to the people that are along the coast here. Because, again, I need to show you some historical data, not really historical data, but some history about what the Gulf can throw, well, what curveball it can do. Okay, so the European model here, first of all, is a whole lot more aggressive. This is the 18Z run. So, of course, it shows that it weakens a little bit, which I don't think is going to happen because we have a lot of deep convection going on, so it's going to stay the same intensity probably. But we can see here winds are about 30 to 40 miles an hour. And you can even see another swath over here. So definitely some intense winds on this storm. And guess what happens? It really blows up. It literally blows up, folks, because by Tuesday, so by tomorrow, it's a tropical storm. And then by perhaps on Tuesday, it's a stronger tropical storm. And then, man, motorcycles. I love motorcycles coming down our street. So, love it getting the interruption, I guess. Well, I guess that motorcyclist is enjoying the nice, cooler temperatures because the air is hitting at him at, like, say, 80 miles an hour. So he's experiencing a tropical storm in himself. But on the side note of that, the European model has really trended aggressive the last couple of runs. Last night's run, barely had anything. We all remember that, right? In last night's stream, it was like, oh, it's probably not going to be all that strong. Just kidding. It is going to be a hurricane. The European model does still show a hurricane here with winds of 75 to 80 miles an hour. But we got to understand, global models are not hurricane-specific models, so they're not going to do the best at resolving equations on a finer scale. So therefore, you could kind of look at this as a signal instead of exact intensity, because this is going to have a hurricane intensity with 75-mile-an-hour winds hitting. This is central southern Louisiana. Let me take a look at that really quickly. That is Morgan City. So this could hit Morgan City here with up to maybe 75 miles an hour. In fact, if we go to our European model, onto the on this map here, this is windy.com. Let's go over to let's go to tomorrow night. Come on, is this gonna load on us? What is going on tonight? Come on, load on us. Okay, this is giving me a lot of problems tonight. Please don't give me problems. So there we go. It should be working now. So as we go into the modeling here by 4 p.m. on Wednesday, again, this is 4 p.m. Actually, this would be 6 p.m. Wednesday for Central Time. You can see here Jeanette, Youngsville, as well as Morgan City. Look at this. Winds here doing the readout 65 to 75 miles an hour. So you can even see right here near hurricane intensity. We go to our wind gust forecast, and we can see the wind gusts here of about 95, maybe even 100 miles an hour. So this would be a very strong tropical storm or even a hurricane moving into the southern Louisiana area. And you can see that wind patch that is fairly strong. Let's go to our higher elevation forecast. You can see here 80-mile-an-hour winds. So this is a clean surface wind showing some pretty nifty winds. Perhaps look at this, even 90 miles an hour on the eastern side or western side of the circulation. So this is what we call a steam jet. So a steam jet is looking like this, and we have those strong winds that come down to the surface. So you can, it's not good. That's a bad signal right there on the European model. So now that we looked at that, and by the way, here's the wind gust swath forecast, and you can see there the track of 50 to 80 to even 107 mile an hour winds moving over Louisiana. So that's not good. That's bad news. Unfortunately, when we look at the GFS model, very aggressive as well, and we will see if the GFS is a magnet onto the system. If the GFS has seen it better than the European, which, by the way, if we just go back and look at the European model for the 40-hour time frame, actually, let's go to 45 hours. Look at how weak that is on the Euro versus on the GFS model that is further south. That is nearly a 15-mile-an-hour wind difference between the Euro and the GFS. And as we go forward, this really blows up. Watch this. See, so it has winds of 50, then it blows to 76 miles an hour on this run. So this is a hurricane, and then watch this. It continues to strengthen. And again, because the European model doesn't see, or the GFS doesn't see this becoming a major hurricane because it's not a high-resolution model, this might become a major hurricane briefly, perhaps winds of 97 to even 115 miles an hour. If we look at the last run, you can see here too, 100.5 miles an hour. So this again could be, and even right here, look at that, 105 miles an hour. That is very close to major hurricane intensity. We'll see if the 0Z run uptrends even more tonight. I think it's going to because of all of our deep convection that is going on with the system. The Canadian model is not very aggressive. It's the only outlier, but one thing in mind is most of our models right now showing a landfall over here, still over into the Louisiana area. That's what I've told you guys yesterday, that the models would stay in this area, and they have done that today, that the system is going to be here in the Louisiana area by Wednesday night into Thursday. And keep in mind, this is Thursday morning. So that's 4 days left over the warm waters, according to the Canadian model. The GFS model has another maybe even 4 days, 3.5 to 4 days over the warm waters here. So this is concerning. This is concerning. And after listening to Mark Sedith's video, that is an eye-opener. That, I mean, when he said that, I mean, the GFS model, these high-res or global models don't do as good of a job at resolving the fine-scale details. And I think we might have a much worse situation than what we thought. And I've noticed a trend here. We thought yesterday that maybe this is going to be a tropical storm at landfall in Louisiana. And that, but models have continued to trend up and up and up. And FYI, for those people that are watching, the air pressure with this system could get down to as low as 950 millibars on the GFS model, between 950 and 955 millibars. That's very significant. That is strong. That would be fitting in major hurricane intensity. So that's why I am a little more concerned tonight than what we had last night. And even with my video today, which I feel like I didn't do a good job on it. I don't know why. I think it's because when I made the video, we didn't get the new update from the NHC, and then NHC had an update, and so I had to almost remake the whole video. But I'm glad you guys were able to see that anyways. But on the side note, again, Canadian model even indicating 45 to 50 mile an hour wind, so tropical storm. The Icon model, which is currently rendering right now, so we will get some new information once that is done. But we can see the 18Z run showing this blowing up. Again, we have talked about that, it blowing up over the next 45 to 55 hours. And as it blows up, it's going to get stronger. Look at this. This is 70-mile-an-hour wind. So that is becoming a hurricane over, say, portions there of Morgan City, as well as Youngsville over here in Louisiana. So lots of problems coming to Louisiana, and you have to face this. This is unfortunate, but at least we're here to let you all know as far out as we can, and doing these updates really do help you all. I'm assuming that. I hope they do. If they don't, then we have got a problem, right? We've got a problem. Then I get to argue with you guys. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to argue with you guys. I understand. So now a newly introduced model that I'm using in this forecast is the naval model. This is the Navy GEM model. So this is the Marine. Yeah, it's Navy, right? Navy, Marines, however you want to put it. And this is also showing maybe a hurricane. Look at that. The purple on your screen indicating a hurricane in about 80 hours. And this would be for Wednesday afternoon into early Thursday. So it's showing a hurricane already moving on to Louisiana by that time frame. So almost pretty much all of our models tonight are showing a big deal, a big hurricane coming for Louisiana. Also on the H-Wharf model, this is on the... oh man, I lost my words. Let me regroup. Hold on. So when we take a look at the H-Wharf model, which is the Hurricane Weather Research Forecasting Model on Potential Tropical Cyclone number 6 here, and look at this. Look at these winds right here. They are very strong. We're looking at 48 to 52 mile-an-hour winds at the surface. The recon data shows that too, so that is no surprise. So looks like maybe the GFS and the H-Wharf are on par with something big coming, unfortunately, for the Gulf. As we go forward, you could even see, look at this, by Monday morning, this undergoes strengthening, more strengthening coming with 60-mile-an-hour winds. Look at these winds coming in out of the westerly direction. That is very, very strong. We have a circulation, a closed low. This is going to be a tropical depression by tonight. I guarantee we're going to have a tropical storm, not a depression, sorry. Tropical storm Francine, or letter F storm, on the 9th of September, a day before the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. Yes, it still counts. It's the 9th, not the 10th. Okay, and by the way, tomorrow I'm ordering my new iPhone. So what a coincidence. What a coincidence. Going to be a big day to remember, I guess. So as we go forward, look what goes on. This system goes up with intensity, and Weatherman Plus was actually showing this. And if he's watching this live stream, I've got to literally give you a round of applause. I almost have to laugh at him because the way he iterates on things, the way his commentary is, this is going to go up in intensity, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, and it's going to go back down again. And I can see why he's saying that, because look at it goes stronger, then it gets weaker, and then it gets stronger again with winds of about 60 to 70 miles an hour. And then look at this. This gets very serious. And unfortunately, folks, I got even more badder news because the NAM 3 kilometer is going ballistic on this system. Which is a possible outcome, unfortunately, because if we look at our H-Wharf model, we have winds of 80 miles an hour. Look at that. That's a Category 1 hurricane. And then look at this. This goes to Category 2 intensity, perhaps. Yeah, look at right there, the southern side of that. That is a Category 2 hurricane wind with 100.6 miles an hour. So technically, this would be... This would be really bad. This would be extremely bad. And I don't like to bring you all bad news, but I'm telling you, the models are not looking good tonight. Very bad 18Z group in for the races. And when we go forward in time, that is Houston, Texas. That is Houston, Texas right there. You can see the Big Bay. Houston is over here. And then here's Galveston and Winnie in Texas. also in that area. And so when we go back, nope, not that. Let's go there. You can see, actually make sure I showed you all that. Okay, perfect. I didn't want to keep that out of frame. So we can see hurricane conditions over maybe near Houston, while offshore, of course, the hurricane force winds are going to be. But all of this right here is tropical storm force winds on the coast of Texas near Houston. And then it goes even further onshore. But look at this, folks, 75 to 80 miles an hour. And that is Lake Charles, Louisiana, getting inundated by some big-time hurricane force winds and some storm surge. And then this goes north. Notice that northerly turn happens. It goes northeast, and then it goes north eventually, and it weakens. But still, even here, winds are tropical storm intensity well into Louisiana. So that's some unfortunate news. But that's not it. If we take a look at our halves A and halves B models, also showing us something even worse than the HRRR. Well, maybe better for Houston, Texas, but even worse for New Orleans and also for Louisiana. I'll show you that here right now. So on the halves A model, we can see that the system consolidates, but look at how quick this really gets going. It's already a hurricane in 48 hours. It's hard to believe. A hurricane coming for the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. And then watch this. Just watch this, folks. Watch what happens. As we go forward, it really intensifies. It really goes. It goes for the money. Okay? And this is a 103 to 105 mile an hour hurricane off the Louisiana coast. Okay? This is Northwest Gulf, I meant. Yes, Victoria. So, of course, this is going to really take off. And when it undergoes rapid intensification, that is to be determined. But we can see the pressure here really going to drop. Look at this, 970 millibars, 966 millibars. Could be stronger than that. I would not be surprised on latest runs. But look at that. Not good. A very strong hurricane here with wind gusts up to major hurricane intensity, perhaps 115 to 130 miles an hour. Even over land, we're looking at wind gusts between 75 to 90 miles an hour. This would really blow down trees and power lines. You can see, what lake is that? I need to get knowing my lakes here a little bit. That is Lake Pontchartrain. Okay, I should have known that by now. I had it on the top of my head, but I just couldn't get it out of my mouth here. So Lake Pontchartrain getting winds of hurricane intensity, wind gusts that is, and then this moves onshore. And look at this. Even so this moves well onshore, there is still wind gusts over 60 to 70 miles, or 50 to 60 miles an hour, that is, and possibly even a little area over here with wind gusts even 70 miles an hour. Even well away from the coast, we're still seeing hurricane force wind or tropical storm force wind gusts, that is, and then this will spin down. But look at this. This goes over Indiana with maybe some tropical storm force wind gusts for sure. Surface winds on that, though, winds could be out of the easterly direction at about 25 to even 30 miles an hour. So that is a strong tropical system coming your way in the next, say, 48 hours, especially for Louisiana. Actually, more like 3.5 to 4 days. But that's not the end of all of this, folks. This is on the halves B run now. We're looking at that. We're going to get a new run in that they're usually delayed. So when we go forward, look what happens. This gets even stronger. It takes a little bit longer to get intense, but look what happens. It moves on. It gets closer to Louisiana, but also showing a Category 2 hurricane here with 102, maybe 105, borderlining major hurricane intensity. All right, and would be the first major hurricane since Beryl, by the way. Yeah, we have not had a major hurricane since Beryl, which was in early July. So this would be a big deal if it does become a major hurricane and it moves onshore over Louisiana. And this really holds together. You can see even a patch here of tropical storm force winds with 32 to 38 mile an hour winds. And the bad news about this is we're going to have tornadoes as well. And when we go forward, you can see once it gets into Indiana, it's a little weaker with 17 mile an hour winds. But boy, you go back, the halves B which it shows it aggressive, but the halves A really going aggressive as well, and this could be generous. We are seeing huge uptrends on the models. Remember last night's model runs, folks? It was only showing maybe a strong tropical storm. Now we could be looking at a Category 2 hurricane, so that's a big increase in the uptrend in the modeling, and we will have to wait and see with what our next runs show. We will be hosting the 0Z GFS model run in tonight's live stream, okay? Very big deal. All right, we're going to get our 0Z runs in, and since there's really nothing much for me to do tomorrow other than I need to get up somewhat early in the morning, we will be up live streaming this for at least another hour and a half, maybe a couple of hours. So if you're just tuning in, welcome aboard. It is an honor that you guys are here watching this. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you want to show your awesome, diligent support to the YouTube channel, please subscribe right now. It really does help out the YouTube channel, and it helps out the YouTube algorithm because, you know, when YouTube sees that a lot of you are subscribed, YouTube will then send more notifications out. The more notifications we get to, then YouTube it's a snowball effect. So be sure to share, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so looking at our intensity model guidance, our spaghetti plots. I showed this in the last video earlier today, and it's showing us some bad news coming. So again, the bad news on the title, we can see the intensity here. There's 3 models that bring this to Category 2 intensity. Okay, and so therefore my intensity forecast has been raised from the last one and is showing winds now that could reach about 85 miles an hour. Okay, so we're looking at an 85 mile an hour hurricane on approach to Louisiana. And again, this could be generous based on the model guidance. And I'm kind of down the middle with a lot of this right now. But it does weaken dramatically once it moves onshore. So that's the good news. We don't see this popping out on the other side like what we had with Debbie. Once this moves onshore, it will weaken a lot. Okay, here's a look at the spaghetti track guidance from Tropical Tidbits on, our 0Z models came in. Okay, this is the 0Z, that's right. Okay, so looking at the spaghetti plot, now I want to make it clear that right here, and I'm going to box this in black, okay, black. Do not use this map to make decisions. Seek official info. All right, I really want to make it clear and really emphasize. Do not use this and base your decisions off of this, all right? Because this is model guidance and this is not an actual forecast, okay? Please understand that. This could theoretically still move onshore and it might end up being a lot weaker. Or this might go north and turn this way, okay? Or go down the middle of the path here of the spaghetti plot and it impacts Beaumont, Texas and Houston, Texas. But what we do need to pay attention to, this does have 3 more days over the Gulf of Mexico. And a lot changes in 3 days. I mean, Laura rapidly intensified and she only did it within 2 days over the Gulf of Mexico. So we still have a full 3 days left before this moves onshore. And if you think about it, you increase the winds by 30 knots a day. That's 30, 60, 90. You could theoretically get winds 90 knots stronger than what you have right now. So right now, the winds are at 40 knots. 45 knots. 45 knots specifically. So about 50 miles an hour. So you would get winds 105, 110 miles an hour stronger. So theoretically, this could, I don't want to be ahead of myself on this, but this could become a major hurricane, theoretically, on approach to Louisiana. We really need to prepare for the worst. This could really play a lot of tricks on us, okay, on the spaghetti plot. And that's why we look at these models, and this is why we live stream on this kind of thing, because this is a big deal. This really is. So now when we look at the radar forecast, I wanted to show you all this too, the people that are watching. Let's see, where is it? There we go. You can see that this eye wall does try to form. Okay, and this could again be generous, but it's very asymmetrical. But you can see a very intense northern eye wall moving over Louisiana. Look at all the deep convection here too. This is not good. And look at all these banding features as well. Discrete cell development. These could be water spouts, tornadoes coming on shore. So a big tornado threat could exist. And you can look at this. I mean, look at all these discrete cells right here. This could be a really big, nasty, nutty storm once it moves on shore, bringing the threat for numerous supercells, the potential for tornadoes and water spouts moving on shore as the strong winds go with it. When we look at our low-level jet too, you can see why there could be water spouts. We have southerly wind here at the surface or in the upper level or in the low levels. And when we look at winds here out of the southeast, yeah, there's going to be tornadoes. There's going to be a big tornado threat evolving maybe over Mississippi and maybe even Alabama. And that's what the model shows here. All these discrete storms is big trouble coming, unfortunately. So, how much rainfall will you guys see? So I'm going to use, actually, we will include that. Let me include that here in this product. I'm going to use this. This is a little bit better. It's more professional in the first place because, of course, I'm using NHC products and I'm not using just based off of one model. So that's what we're going to use. So that's, okay, so we need that, and my flood map, there we go. So there we go. So we're in position. So, of course, when we look at the NHC products here, we can see that, of course, this is a 50 mile an hour, and it just updated. So it's still 50 miles an hour, and it is not a tropical storm yet. So it will become one by tomorrow morning. I can tell you right now, by tomorrow morning, in the next 12 hours, it's going to be a tropical storm. And we can see here, very awkward for the fat side of the storm here. Okay, the strongest wind to being on the western side because it's moving this way, right? It's going northwest, and yet we have the strongest winds on the western side. Usually it's the opposite. You get the fatter side on the eastern side with the direction of travel. So this is a very interesting, weird system. So looking at the NHC product here, 7 p.m. on Monday, it's a tropical storm. And look at tropical storm watches already issued. I would not be surprised if they go for warnings there. And we're going to have hurricane watches and warnings out soon for Louisiana and also for Texas. Look at the H's here. This is hurricane intensity on approach to the Louisiana area, okay? So that's what we're looking at the moment. And when we take a look here at our risk of tropical storm force winds, we're looking at anywhere between a 40 to 6, wow. We're looking at a 40 to 60% chance of tropical storm force winds as early as Monday, 8 p.m. all the way through, say, Tuesday night, and even in early Wednesday morning. There is your risk. And yes, Houston, Texas, you're at risk for tropical storm force winds. There's a 30% chance, even 40% there. And of course, your higher chances are over southwestern Louisiana, where you're at a 40 to 50% chance of tropical storm force winds. So now looking at the latest advisory, the system is forecast to become a tropical storm on Monday as it moves near the western Gulf of Mexico coast. Tropical storm watches are in effect for northeastern Mexico and extreme South Texas. The system is forecast to become a hurricane before it reaches the northwestern Gulf Coast by the middle of the week. While it is too soon to pinpoint the exact location and magnitude of impacts, the potential for life-threatening storm surge and damaging winds are increasing for portions of the Louisiana and upper Texas coastline beginning Tuesday night. Hurricane and storm surge watches will likely be issued for a portion of that area on Monday, and residents should ensure they have their or their hurricane plan in place. So make sure you have your generator ready to go. If you're along the coast, you're going to need to get ready to evacuate. Make sure you have documents packed up, because again, the last thing we want for people to do is just stay behind thinking that, oh, we've been through one hurricane before, we can get through another one. Every hurricane is different and is not, and these storms do not behave the same. Treat every hurricane like you have never had one before. All right, please. That's what I'm here to doing, to spread out the word to those people that are impacted by this. Potential Tropical Cyclone 6 is expected to bring some pretty hefty rainfall and the risk of flash flooding over the coast, from the coast of far northeastern Mexico into portions of coastal Texas and Louisiana through Thursday. So again, I wanted to really iterate that this is a serious situation, all right? And I put the title and the thumbnail in for a reason. This just got worse. Big hurricane may be coming, all right? So how much rainfall could you see? Let's update that. This is the latest advisory graphic on the rainfall total from the Weather Prediction Center. You can see some orange areas here around Brownville. That is rainfall totals as much as 8 to 12 inches. Say Lake Charles, Houston, Texas, you might get 4 to 6 inches. Maybe even along the coast here briefly, you might get up to 8 inches of rainfall. And then, of course, look at this. South of Mobile, Alabama, 8 inches. If you're a boater, if you have a houseboat, keep that in mind. Mobile, Alabama, 4 inches of rainfall, or Mobile. And then Jackson, you have 4 inches of rain. And look at this. Yeah, the impacts. Rain is an impact, folks. I want to really, really make it clear. Say it with me. Rain is an impact. And impacts are impacts. And they hurt property. They impact people's lives. So when looking at this, yes, you could see an inch or more of rainfall in Nashville, Memphis, Birmingham, Montgomery, Atlanta, Augusta, Georgia over here, Chattanooga. You can get an inch. And even Little Rock and Shreveport, not far from that inch delineation area, maybe an inch of rain is expected there too. Tallahassee, also Pensacola, Panama City, Florida, also expected to get several inches of rainfall with this. This is going to lead to a lot of flooding, and potentially, because of the storm surge right here, I am circling this, and I want to really circle this right in this box. If you're in this box, there could be life-threatening, catastrophic flooding and impacts, depending on how strong this actually gets. All right, again, I made a box. If you're in this black box right here, you definitely need to actually more of a smaller box. I don't want to freak you all out that much, but it's in this little area. You really need to take this a bit more serious than, say, Beryl, which it made landfall over here in Texas. I don't think this is going to make landfall in Central Texas or in Houston. It could, though. Doesn't surprise me. But it looks like a Louisiana threat now seems to be more likely than not. So looking at the greatest risk of flash flooding over the next 5 days, there is a slight risk for flash flooding. But again, I would not be surprised in later outlooks if they issue a red area right over here. This area in red might get upgraded to a moderate risk of heavy rainfall and flash flooding. So if you're in that area, make sure you are getting the latest information from the National Hurricane Center, your local weather office, local officials, the Weather Channel, including myself here on YouTube, okay? And then looking at a graphic here of showing you all the storm surge inundation forecast. This is really, really important, okay? And I'm sure you guys like graphics a lot. We can see areas in yellow here have, let's see what the legend says down here. That's 3 feet above ground level with the storm surge. Okay, that's up to about your stomach, maybe even up to your waist. And then as we go a little further to the northeast here, Tiki Island, if you're in Jamaica Beach, if you're in Galveston, Texas, you could see even up to maybe 3 or 4 or even 5 feet of storm surge. And then look at this. These orange colors, let me make sure this actually did update. It should have updated. Let me make sure. Okay, it didn't, because they'll update this probably really soon, hopefully. And you can see areas in orange here. That is 6 feet above your head. Some areas could even see localized storm surge inundation greater than 6 feet, maybe even up to 7 or 8 feet of storm surge. Again, based on how strong this actually gets. If this gets a lot stronger than what models are showing, then the storm surge will be a lot worse. And you can see anything in yellow here is indication of a lot of storm surge along the Louisiana coast, as well as in Gulfport, Mobile, Alabama, including for Houston, Texas. Okay, so we really got to watch this. Lake Charles, Greg D says there's a National Weather Service office over there, and they may get at least a foot, maybe a few feet of storm surge in that area. So not very good news. Nothing that you want to ever hear about. And this is reality. We knew this was coming in September. September is the peak of hurricane season, and that gives you an idea. That really puts this into perspective. All right. So now I wanted to show you guys the intensity forecast because they added another H to the forecast. All right. So as we scroll down, they are up to 80 miles an hour on this right now. Now, given the fact that they have 2 H points here, this is when it makes landfall, right around the time of landfall. Again, they're going to be a little generous for many reasons, right? This could theoretically, if you add 10 miles an hour to this, I'm not trying to forecast for the NHC, by the way. I'm not here to do that. So hopefully y'all don't criticize me for that. But I wanted to show you all from that's Kangai Lassi, something like that. Nice forecaster. So we can see when we box this in, if you do the math, 60, 65, 70, then you go up to 80, and this could be 90 miles an hour right at landfall. So that would be a strong Category 1 hurricane, stronger than Debbie and stronger than Beryl. You thought Beryl was bad. Well, if we get a 90-mile-an-hour hurricane moving into Louisiana, it would be stronger than Beryl and would be the strongest hurricane to make landfall this year in the United States. All right, remember we had Beryl, which was 85 or 80 miles an hour at landfall. Debbie was 80 miles an hour, and now we could be looking at another 80-mile-an-hour hurricane, or perhaps even a 90-mile-an-hour hurricane. And remember, my intensity forecast is up to 85. So I'm a little higher than the NHC in this forecast. And again, but most importantly, explicitly showing here that this is going to become a hurricane right at landfall, right before, or well, a little bit before landfall, but definitely before it actually moves on shore. Okay. So yeah, I also wanted to show you something too, folks. For the 680 people that are watching, I wanted to show you some history really quickly. We'll go to climatology, then look at history. So I do not want to forget, and I do need to show you all this. I know you guys are like, just show the hurricane, David. We need to know more information. But I also wanted to show you this graph. This is the frequency of tropical activity, and we are right about here. Okay, so we are about here right now, right there. So you can see the line that I made, or the arrow that I'm pointing to, illustrating, oops. So we're right about here, oops. So we're right about there, and you cross-sect, something like that, roughly plus or minus a day. But this is where we're at. And we still got a little way to go. And just because a lot of people are like, oh, the downside of the hurricane season's finally coming, the activity will decrease. Because of how warm the Atlantic is, and maybe the atmosphere is backlogged, it's lagged behind schedule, we might hit our peak a little later. And specifically, we might hit it actually on the 12th or the 13th of September this year, or even the 15th of September before we see the downtrend. But I want to make it clear, from about here, from about mid-August, so from here all the way through at least middle of October is when we can expect the most tropical activity in the Caribbean, in the Atlantic basin to occur throughout the season. So just because we're going downhill is not good news necessarily. That's not your savior here. We're probably going to have more activity, a lot more activity to come as we go into late September and well into October. Just keep that in mind, okay? I don't know for certain if it's going to happen, but we have data to back that up, okay? Oh, also I wanted to show you this too. Let's go down to here. Yeah, this was updated, so I'm glad the NHC actually decided we'll update this, and we'll show you all what this is showing us. So these are tropical system point origins and tracks since 1940, no wait, no. Oh yeah, Atlantic points since 1851. Since 1851 to 2023. And we can see, look at how much activity there is from the 1st through the 10th of September. That's a lot of storms to develop in that period. 263 named storms. Okay. So you got to understand that. And when we look at our next one, let's kind of go down the list here. What about October 1st through the 10th? Look at this. Still a lot of activity, especially in the Gulf of Mexico and in the Caribbean. And guess what? That's homegrown storms. That's close to us as residents. Not me, because I'm not in Mexico. I don't live in Mexico, or I don't live in Cuba. I don't live in Florida. I live in California, and I do this for a living. But you can see here that there's a lot of activity. Cape Verde or Cabo Verde season closes off gradually for the second half of September into early October. But really, I mean, still, we can get a lot of activity in the first part of October, the first full week here. And it's not usually until we get into the last half of October when things really begin to settle down and it's not as active. So we really have until mid-October to see a lot of activity, and that's still a little more than a month away. Okay, so I wanted to just kind of clear that out with you all in this live stream. Okay. So let's take a look at deep convection again. Thinking, well, I feel like I missed something. Maybe I didn't. Or did I? No, I didn't. Oh yeah, surf. I wanted to show you guys the surf that is expected with this. So we don't, of course, have our 0Z in, so we have to rely on our 12Z run. But look at the surf here on the European model. Lots of high surf is expected here over the Louisiana coast and even Texas coast. Up to 20 to 30 footer waves are anticipated. Some breakers, you can see some breakers here, potentially reaching 45 to almost 50 feet. Actually, that is 50 feet here. Look at that right here. Look at the max, the plot system, 50 feet of some of surf that is anticipated. And then this moves into Florida, or the swell does, as the system moves into Louisiana. And then that will really get a lot more quieter. Man, it's going to be a little rough ride. It's going to be not so good. It's going to be a bad one, unfortunately. All right. Did I miss anything? We're just going to hang out here for a while. For those 600 people that are watching, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It really means a lot. Man, we're already up to 26,430 subscribers. So, or yeah, 430. So you guys are really awesome. And again, if you subscribe, you get a cookie. No, I'm not like Mr. Beast. If you subscribe, you'll get my updates every day. Every time I upload, make a blog post, a shorts feed, or anything, which, by the way, I'm not going to go on a tangent again. The shorts feed, I wanted to show you all this. This is incredible. I made this shorts feed, and it's not really current. It is close. Well, again, our system is going to make landfall over here, but wow. I mean, a Gulf storm. I need to figure out what the date of that was. I know it was on a actually, you know what? It was a Thursday, so or a Wednesday. So this would be nearly the same time that this is going through. So wow, what an impressive model the GFS has been. I mean, location is different here, but look at 957 millibars. Guess what? We had a 957 on the latest GFS model run, approaching Louisiana over here, more western Louisiana, not over into Florida. But wow, I mean, 318 hours out, a different angle of attack. Our system's doing this instead of doing this, right? Different angle of attack, but I'm telling you, there was a system here in the Gulf at that day, Wednesday evening, afternoon, 318 hours out. And believe it or not, it's here. Incredible. Incredible. The GFS I feel like, has done a really good job at illustrating, at showing us this tropical system. And the more warning we get, the better we're able to kind of forward that all. All right, the next GFS model run, folks, is 10 minutes away from rendering. 10 minutes away from rendering. Let's get our 0Z model guidance in from the icon. Let's see what the icon is showing. So the icon is definitely a little weaker on this run. Actually a little stronger, but also look at further east. So it now looks like it's going to be over, my gosh, I need to get my cities correctly here. That is going to be moving over Golden Meadow, perhaps over Grand Isle, Louisiana. So according to the icon, boy, this has, oh no, wait, no. It's this over here. So actually Jeanette, Franklin, Morgan City area. So a little bit further to the east than I thought. But that trend still continues. This is still trending to the east with each run of the icon. And if we go back here, you can see what makes a difference. There is your trend a little further to the east, just a little bit with each model run. Incredible. Incredible. We'll see how much further this is going to go. And by the way, this is more over the open waters of the Gulf, so it's not getting really influenced by the landmass of Mexico. So that is to be considered as well, because again, the more further offshore this is, this has all of the potential potentially. This really does. And I don't want to know what the potential of this is, because we know what can happen. Okay, so I wanted to show you all some history while we are waiting for our models, okay? It is important that we show you this. Not that I'm wishing for a Willy Naka system, but I wanted to show you all Hurricane Michael, because again, Hurricane Michael only spent like about 2.5 days, 3 days over the Gulf. So let's use that as a reference point. Hurricane Michael. So if we look at Hurricane Michael, look at. So if you put the same origin, man, I wish they actually had this a little bit further over. Let me see if I could bring that up on windy.com. So that was in 2018. I don't know if I can go that far back in time, but it doesn't hurt. Let's go. Let's do that. Do we have a Hurricane Michael? That was October, right? So let's go to October. There is Hurricane Michael. So, yep, this is the one. This is the one. Actually, by the way, it was not a Category 4. It was a Category 5 hurricane. So, I don't know why this wasn't updated in their post-analysis on Zoom Earth. I guess it's the original. But I wanted to show you all something very importantly. If you draw the same latitude over, let me bring this up. So same latitude right here, we had a hurricane. So this would be located roughly over here. Now this was a lot more organized, of course, okay? But you never know what the Gulf can throw at you. And so this really intensified in a hurry as it got closer and closer. Once it got into this portion of the Gulf, it really exploded in intensity. That is why we cannot assume that it's going to be 85 or 80 mile an hour winds on Louisiana as this gets closer, because the Gulf is in the mid 80s right now. Waters are excruciatingly warm, and you just can't ignore. You just can't. Because if you ignore the Gulf will ignore you. And you can see here Port San Jose on that morning of, this would be October the 10th. In the morning of the 10th, man, that thing was a beast. 155 miles an hour. Also, Hurricane Ian, too. I wanted to show you all Hurricane Ian as well. I think that was over here. Trying to get it. There we go. Okay, so here's Hurricane Ian. Well, probably not as good of a context, but you can see here it emerged off of Cuba at about 115 miles an hour, and yet the thing became a 160 mile an hour hurricane. In fact, it did it overnight. It went from 115 at 5 a.m. on September the 27th, and look at this. At 5 a.m. on September the 28th, Category 5, 160 mile an hour winds. Okay, so this is a wake-up call. Yeah, it can skip 2 categories in 24 hours. Not saying that that's what we're going to see in the Gulf now, but after all, guess what day that is? That's September 21st. And guess what the Gulf was like on September 21st in 2022? It was very warm. It was incredibly warm. All right, and there is Fiona. I really do like this, so you can go back and look at history. History in the ball game on zoomearth.com. I need you guys to check this out. Go to zoomearthrightnow.com and you can absolutely view these. Hurricane Harvey. Okay, let me see. I forget the time frame of hurricanes. So Hurricane Harvey was in 2018, I think. Hurricane Harvey. 2017, I'm off by years. So let's go back and look at that. So 2017, August. There is Hurricane Harvey. Wow, yeah, we could really go back in time and look at all these images. So, yeah, look at what Harvey did. Okay, August 22nd, and this was, so August 22nd. That was only 3 days. It only spent 3 days over the Gulf. Yeah. Exactly 3 days. And yeah, look at that. Look at that sucker. Look at that. 30 miles an hour. 30, by the way. We're already at 50 miles an hour on this tropical storm. Okay? Or, yeah, I'm just going to say tropical storm. because I'm not going to correct myself over and over again. So Tropical Storm Francine right now, not really officially named yet, but it will be by tonight and by tomorrow morning. You can see clearly how quick this thing intensified. Even from here, look at the point of origin. 2 a.m. on the 23rd of August, 30 miles an hour. Okay? 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning, it goes from 30 to 40 miles an hour. It goes up 10 miles an hour. And then it really goes. It goes nuts here. Okay? 130 in this portion of the Gulf. The concern about that is, look what we have going on. The system is over here right now. Okay, our system, and if you make a radial, put your line together right there. Look at what we have. So in relative sense, this system right now that we're dealing with has a much longer path and longer time over the Gulf to further intensify. So that's why I'm going a little aggressive on my forecast, and people are not liking that, I'm sure. I'm sure you guys are saying, stop scaring us, dude. Stop the fear-mongering. I really don't care at this time. I don't care if I fear-monger, if I scare people, because this is serious. This is serious because the Gulf is so warm right now. And I'm going to have to break my ties being generous here. I'm not going to be so generous with this system. I really am not. And again, you guys can call me fear-mongering, call me names. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's better to be ready for the worst or get prepared for the worst than not get prepared at all. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the Gulf is very warm. Very warm. We're in the mid-80s, folks. Keep that in the back of your mind. Mid-80s and upper ocean heat content, I will say this again, upper ocean heat content is terrifying in the Gulf right now. I don't know if our University of Miami sea surface temperatures are working, and they're still not working. I do not know why the data is getting lost. This works, so yeah, look at this. Look at the upper ocean heat content anomaly here. This is off the charts. This is why I'm not turning my back on this. What's up, Colleen? All right, so upper ocean heat content here is pretty significant, well above average, and our storm is right over here. It's roughly right over here right now. It's going to be moving over some below average upper ocean heat content, but watch what happens. It's going to turn and it's going to go that way. It's going to be moving over this patch of very high upper ocean heat content. Record-breaking heat content. Something that we have not dealt with yet. And you can see it right here, off the charts. Off the charts with upper ocean heat content here in the northwestern Gulf of Mexico. That is why, again, we could assume that, okay, it's going to be a Category 1 or a Category 2 hurricane. Please do not promote in my stream, William. Thank you so much. Yeah, so the wind shear, okay, so the wind shear is probably going to have some impingement on the system. Now, again, the GFS, let's see what the next run shows, but I'll tell you right now, according to our latest hurricane models at the moment, we are not seeing much of that getting into the system. This is the HAVS A model. Oh, wait, no, the HWRF. So let's look at the HWRF synoptic first, because that's going to give us our wind shear. So the wind shear here is going to increase, but the thing I want to be clear and concise about in my videos is there is some barotropic ascent. Okay, there's a little bit of a trough. Mark Sedeth even talked about this, and I do agree with him. There's this little trough. You get divergent flow aloft like this. So even so there might be wind shear, it may not be a whole lot or enough to antagonize the system or stunt it. It might prevent it from becoming a category 3 or 4, but it's not going to prevent this from becoming a hurricane. That's a given right now. I think we're going to definitely see a hurricane with this. How strong of a hurricane is to be answered. And, oh man, cow manure, folks. Who likes the smell of cow manure? Yeah, it stinks in here. But I have to have my windows open because literally it is hot. It is warm in here. So, yeah, what's up, TRG Tornado? How's everything? By the way, hope you're doing great. But yeah, TRG, I want to also show you this too, because this is important for tropical forecasting. Upper level patterns as well. You have to look at this too, because this is going to be a help as far. Actually, Tropical Tidbits is going to have more of a floater. It's going to be a little zoomed in, a little bit closer. So that's going to be a little bit better for a lot of you all viewers. Oh my gosh, it stinks in here. Cow manure. I love it. I love the smell of cow manure because I actually hate it. I actually do. So when we go forward, and yes, I'm out in the country, so that's what you kind of get if you're out in the country. So you can see here the environment is fairly conducive for the next couple of days at least. Anticyclonic ridge over the system. Not a bad signal for this. This is actually, in general, pretty favorable. Okay? And so when we go forward, westerly flow picks up. But the thing here is, when does it pick up? That's the whole... That's the big uncertainty here. We only have one run from the halves A model showing this. Okay, but this could be destructive or constructive to the system, because if we do get that outflow, divergent flow in this portion of the atmosphere, this is in a position where it could be, in fact, atmospherically conducive for barotropic deepening with the system, and there's asymmetry to the system. Okay. But once this gets over and closer to Louisiana, it might not be able to intensify anymore, maybe just before landfall. And that's because, again, the westerly flow coming out on the backside of this. But we got to also understand that this is only wind of about 20 to 25 knots. And the system here is moving at about 10 knots. So in relative sense, the shear is only going to be about 10 to 15 miles an hour. It's not going to be very strong at all. Actually, it might be a little stronger than what I just showed you all. Yeah, shear only 15 knots. Look at this. This shear is not very strong at all. Max shear 35 knots, but that's probably to the north. In fact, if we do a better zoom in view, yeah, see, 15 to 18 knots. That is not destructive to the system. It is some shear, but it's not like, oh, we're going to have a lot of shear to contend with. Because we do have flow like this, and then the winds shift rapidly with height, and that's your shear that we're looking at. Okay? So you gotta understand that shear is not always a good thing, and it's not going to weaken to nothing before landfall. I just don't think that's going to happen. And if we even go back a few frames, the shear on this model, right about in here, let this load. Let this load, come on. Yeah, look at shear, less than 5 knots. Less than 5 knots. That's significant. That really is. There's not a whole lot of wind shear here at all. So at least over the next 48 hours, shear does not begin to pick up. Let me look at another frame here. Okay. Shear does not begin to pick up on the system. This is 60 hours out. It slowly begins to pick up to about 15 or so knots. Okay. So theoretically, this has 60 hours to rapidly organize and strengthen. After the 60-hour mark, then the atmosphere might not be as conducive, for further strengthening, but it's not going to be destructive for the storm at all. It really isn't. Okay, I did my talking on that. One last thing too, moisture, then we'll get to our GFS model run. Look at all this moisture, then it really becomes asymmetrical. All right, you can see that right there on the halves A model. A lot of asymmetry later on, but right now it's doing pretty good for the most part. And then you can see that on the moisture plot clearly. All right, GFS, let's run. See our GFS. I'm gonna look at it's weaker. It is a little weaker, but it is further south too. It is further south. So we'll just see. Let's see how intense this gets. It is definitely stronger than last night's 060 run. Which, by the way, on the 12Z run, it was like this, and yet that thing was going to become a 957 millibar system. So if it's weaker on this run, doesn't always mean good news. So how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are enjoying the live stream. We are covering this in real time right now as we get our new models. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and share this with your family and friends on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble. Yeah. The 957 would be a really big problem. Yeah, it would be a big problem. And that's what the 12Z run shows right here. A 957 over, yeah, off the coast of Louisiana. In theory, that is theoretically a possibility, but an outlier most likely. And that's even with that westerly flow. So again, we're going to really have to watch this. We really are going to need to see what this latest run shows. It's not as strong as the 12Z run, but it's further south. It is further south on this run, which gives it a little bit extra time to strengthen, so we'll have to wait and see what it shows. Oh, man. Okay, let's see. No new frames in yet. So we're just going to wait to see what our new frames show. It is bothering me. It stinks. It's disgusting. Who likes the smell of cow manure? I don't think anyone does. There's a big ranch north of us. I bet you the wind here is out of the north. You want to make a bet? If it's out of the north, that explains why we are seeing, or yep, there it is. It's out of the north. That's exactly why I have cow manure smell. There's a ranch to our north, and it just is disgusting when you get that wind. And it's warm tonight, so it makes it feel even more uncomfortable. Really been warm the last several days, and today it reached about 100 degrees. Pretty miserable. I'm ready for the cooler weather if it can get over here quick enough. Okay, this system is a little deeper. It is a little deeper because again, it's not as deep as the 18Z run. And it's not as deep as the 12Z run, but it is further south. It is further south, which now means it's going to be further east on this run. So I'm looking at positioning and relative intensity as well. So this run, it was a little further north at 971. And so when it approaches that same spot, it could be a few millibars deeper, given the fact it went from 988 to 978 millibars. Look at that, 988 to 976 millibars. That's a 12 millibar drop in air pressure in 6 hours on the GFS model. So, yep, exactly. Oh, let's see, did it? 974. So it's weaker. It's consistently weaker, though. So it doesn't look to be as strong, but at this point, though, you have to look at hurricane models as well. GFS is not a high-resolution model, and it is relatively high-resolution, but it's nothing like the hurricane models, where they're even more high-resolution. Not wishing for a big storm here, but if this makes landfall at 965 millibars, you have to deduct at least 5 millibars off of that with hurricane models, because again, it's on this particular run, it doesn't look very high res. It really isn't. So we're going to see, though, it is further south, though, way further south. By a good probably 40 or 50 miles. Chase, I will show you the simulated, I guess I could show you the simulated satellite. Oh yeah, look at that. On the simulated, you can even see some spiral bands. Some spiral bands coming out from that. That could be very interesting. Looks like it's going east. No, it's going northeast. It's going northeast, L-Dog. We're just going to wait. We're going to wait for the next run to come in, though. Or this run to finish. Also, it's not game over. We have to keep an eye on 92L as well. Yeah, what I'm looking is it actually, it's definitely further south, and it's further to the east in relative sense. So, it's definitely that easterly trend is continuing. So, it looks like it is not going to even hit Texas at all. Now it might be actually going for central Louisiana, central southern, which means extra time over water. Probably another 12 hours additionally over warm water. But again, I want to show you why this is a bit of uncertainty in the modeling, and I'll explain that in just a second. Once this is done, actually I can probably do it right now. So, technically, right now, the analysis, okay, this was the analysis on the GFS. Very elongated area of low pressure. Very stretched thin here, okay? And as we look further, which area becomes the dominant area of spin. It looks like it's happening a little further to the east than what the GFS actually shows. And we can see that here if we go to our satellite. All this deep convection right here might be where our center is relocating. So this could be relocating a little further south than what the GFS shows. All right, so this would probably be the time when we start seeing those either uptrends or trends to the east, or rapid development in exchange with where this is going to go. Because there is another area of spin that could focus itself coming off of the Yucatan by tonight. And there might be evidence of that by seeing some of this deeper convection right here. Not a whole lot, but there is another area of vort, or another area of spin going on. And so what you end up with is a little bit of uncertainty, because this is pretty close to the coast, and then it launches that way. It bounces off. So exactly where that center relocates and exactly where it's going to track. This is why we're seeing a little fragile situation tonight still. So 964 millibars deeper. It is deeper than the last run. It is deeper than the last run. It was 966 off the coast of, what area is that? Off the coast of Abbeville, Jeanette, Louisiana. This is now further offshore now. It is notably offshore. And so this moves onshore a little bit to the east. So this has still trended a little bit to the east just by a hair. And this still becomes a big system in the Gulf. And let's look at our wind forecast on this. Let's see if it's stronger. Yeah, it's about as strong, 89 miles an hour. So there has not been a downtrend on this. Not even a downtrend. Yeah, it's going for still about 90 miles an hour. About 90 miles an hour. So, yeah, looks like this is not a done deal. And we will see, once some new frames come out, what it's going to show. Now, I do want to pay attention really quickly. I wanted to show you all the 92L. Let's see what that looks like on the latest runs. Man, there is still no consistency with this. A lot of differences on the models with that little area of spin right there. But the last run showed it really grouping up very quickly. But on this run, it's a little different. So we'll keep an eye on what 92L looks like once more frames load in. Oh, wow, ban everything. That's crazy, yeah. The wind gusts definitely not add to the damage, most certainly. And so we're waiting for that. Actually, while we're waiting for the GFS to come in, what does our Canadian model show? Definitely a little deeper and a little further to the north. We don't have our European model in yet. But I'm really curious to see what this maxes out at. Oh, here we go. So 92.3 miles an hour. So still a 90-mile-an-hour hurricane headed for Louisiana potentially. But again, because of a bit of that intensity uncertainty, I'm going to keep it at 85 miles an hour in this update. 85. We should be getting our 0Z hurricane models in here in a little bit, though. I don't know. I wonder when those start rendering. They haven't started rendering here. Yeah, we're going to have to wait, though. I hope our hurricane models will come in soon. They should, though. They should come in really within the next couple of hours at least, or sooner than that. Oh, look at, we got a problem. 100-mile-an-hour hurricane. There it is. Near 100 miles an hour. Not exactly 100, but wow. Not far. Not far. 98 to 99 miles an hour on the GFS. And it makes landfall right here. So that would be... What bay is this? This would be near Franklin Baldwin in Louisiana. That's what the GFS is showing. So still a pretty intense storm. Let's see the 18Z run. Yeah, see, 18Z run did not have it as strong. Only up to about 96 miles an hour. 95 miles an hour on this. So the fact is it did uptrend just a teeny bit. Right about in here is when it did. And it's showing 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts potentially. And so that goes to show you. That really does. I'm seeing if there is a... Yeah, there's even an eye-like future. That's a sign right there. Oh, Vermilion Bay. So it's going to be moving over Vermilion Bay, making landfall on Vermilion Bay. Vermilion Bay, as well as, again, that would be for Franklin Baldwin area. This would be moving over. And I want to explicitly show that is 3 days out. 3 days out, and this reaches Category 2 intensity in 3 days. It's been consistent. If we look at the recent model trends, you can see where it's been as well. I'll tell you right now, the 12Z from this morning was pretty sickening. It was 103 miles an hour. 103 miles an hour. Showing that system. This is not far off, though. Not far off. And definitely stronger than the 06Z run. So this has got to be watched. I mean, we got to keep an eye on the model trends because that's a system. That's a strong one. And some of you are like, oh, it's only going to be a Cat 1 or a Cat 2, David. I really don't care what category it is because there's going to be a lot of impacts. There is going to be a lot of big impacts with this. Especially, look at this. Once this gets into Mississippi, still 30 to 34 mile an hour winds. That is pretty strong with wind gusts over 50 miles an hour. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. So I'm definitely not ignoring this. You can't ignore something. Just can't. And look at how it really takes off. If we go back to the Gulf of Mexico sector, and again, We got to really look at the benchmark and the process. We got to really look at that. Where does a low form? Does it try to form over here? Or does it try to form over here? Or does it try to form over here? That is going to be the tricky part of all of this. Okay? The tricky part. But it does look like a surface low does try, makes an attempt at forming over here. And then it launches offshore a little bit. But small processes lead to big changes. And you can see, look at the 18Z run. Look at tonight's run. 12Z run. 18Z run. There's your difference. In other words, there is a lot of complications going on with this system right now. Because of all that spin. All that spin is going on. And this may end up being a lot stronger than what models projected. Right? And you can see what happens once it launches off. Also, a lot of moisture too. Dew points in the upper 70s, mid 70s. So a lot of it's going to feel muggy out there. Relative humidity, you bet. It's going to be disgusting. Your dew point depression, which measures from the dew point to the air temperature. So full saturation, it's going to be miserable out there. It's going to be muggy. It's going to be warm-ish. And look at all that moisture that's going to be moving onshore. That's going to be a big rainmaker, I'm telling you. Big rainmaker. And if we forward this again, this is what our system does through tomorrow morning. And you can just see it how it bundles up and it tries. And when it develops that inner core is going to be very important. Because if it does it much sooner, which this is what that's showing here with the deep convection, and when we actually look at that, really blowing up around that center. And that moves over Louisiana. So the next couple of days with this system, actually perhaps the next 60 hours, going to be pretty critical, very critical for the health of this system. And not only that, let's take a look at the central United States, because actually let's go to the deep south sector. Still going to be some strong winds here. 35 miles an hour. That's tropical depression force. And look at these wind gusts. 50 to 60 miles an hour. So even well onshore, there's going to be a lot of wind damage. Trees coming down, power outages, that sort of thing. This is not a one and done deal. Once it moves onshore, it's not going to be, oh, it's weakening, that's good. Because this is going to have a lot of moisture with it, with northward extent. And actually, it's going to become a more of an extratropical cyclone. And again, the stronger this gets, the more impactful it will get further onshore. So do you guys have any questions? Any questions? If you guys like the detail, you guys like the stream, subscribe today, hit the like button, and share this, and ring the bell icon. We also want to look at our central Atlantic system. What is that showing on the GFS? Yeah, definitely something there. Definitely something. And definitely a broad system here with that wave to its east. We'll see with what all of this does out here, though, in the Atlantic. For right now, though, we definitely have a hurricane developing in the Gulf. And that's what everyone's concerned about right now. Gulf hurricane coming. So, any questions? Let's get to questions, by the way. What's up, Angela Commander? How are you doing? Are those two Atlantic systems a threat to Florida? No, they're not. They are not a threat to Florida right now. They are not. For right now, at least. If we look at the spaghetti plot, I did forget to... I did show this at the end of my video today, but I'll show this again to you. So we're going to look at the 18Z model run, and we're going to go out to 10 days. And you can see here, definitely a big signal for this to become a tropical storm or hurricane. It's probably, we don't know if it's going to be a fish storm yet. Still a lot of details to be worked out. There are a couple of runs, though, that do bring this further west. So we'll have to watch that once the European model comes out. The 12Z run was pretty aggressive, too, at showing a tropical storm or hurricane out here in the first place. So, yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to go over to... I'm actually going to go over here. What about Houston? Houston right now, we're going to look at the models again. But right now, it looks like the models have trended a little further to the east with extent. Doesn't mean they'll shift back again. That could happen tomorrow. But for right now, Houston, Texas is not in as bad of a shape as it was this morning and last night, when this could have actually made landfall in Houston, Texas. So good news for Houston tonight. Doesn't look to be as big of a concern. Actually, I was on the wrong tab here. So I wanted to look at the extended spaghetti plot on our tropical cyclone out there. That one in the MDR does interest me, so that's why I want to actually look at the 12Z extended on on weathermodels.com. Yeah, see, look at that signal there. Definitely a big signal. And in theory, this could still get close to, say, Puerto Rico, or this could literally go that way. So there's a lot of uncertainty on this. There's a lot of mixed signals on that wave, but this has a very high ceiling out here to become a hurricane for sure. And of course, over here, back home in the Gulf, there's quite a few members picking this up as a hurricane on approach to Louisiana. That's on that 12Z output. And actually, wow, the 18Z run came out and it shifted further east as well, showing even more members picking up that as a hurricane. And that's why the NHC went ahead and went higher on the intensity. The intensity is now up to 80 miles an hour. But I just wanted to read this really quick too, because I haven't read this at all. So the system is gradually becoming better organized, with deep convection increasing in coverage and intensity over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. However, earlier visible satellite imagery and aircraft data from the Air Force hurricane hunters indicate that the disturbance does not have a well-defined center and still resembles an elongated trough. The initial intensity remains at 45 knots based on the aircraft data. The strongest winds are occurring on the system's west side and are likely enhanced by the barrier jet associated with the Sierra Madre mountains in Mexico. The initial motion is estimated to be 320 degrees at 4 knots. Wow, that's moving slow. A mid-level ridge situated over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico and western Atlantic should steer the disturbance slowly northward or north-northwestward through Tuesday morning, likely keeping the core of the system off the coast of Mexico and southern Texas through that time. By late Tuesday, a turn to the northeast with an increase in forward speed is forecast as the system moves in the flow between the ridge and an approaching shortwave. That motion should take the cyclone to the Louisiana or upper Texas coast on Wednesday. A north-northeastward motion is forecast after landfall. Little change in strength is expected during the next 12 to 24 hours as it will likely take some time for the system to consolidate and develop a well-organized circulation. Once the system is able to close off and contract, steady strengthening is forecast as the cyclone will be moving over warm waters and within a region of high moisture and upper-level diffluence. However, some of the models show an increase in shear and slightly drier air affecting the system around that time it reaches the coast. The NHC forecast is raised from the previous one and lies roughly near the middle of the guidance envelope. So, I forgot to read that to you all, and it, again, showing 80 miles an hour. Okay, so yeah, the weird wind patterns are very weird. I do agree. Especially this barrier jet. The barrier jet that is over along the coast there of Mexico. Pretty strong. Pretty strong right now. You can even see it here on the Zoom Earth. If I go further south, you could really see that barrier jet down here. Really pumping. By the way, if you guys do like this stream, hit the like button. We're 10 likes away from 300. So if you guys haven't liked the stream yet, please do so. What's a barrier jet? So the barrier jet is because of the mountainous terrain here, and the wind pressure bounces off. So you get actually an increase in wind from the northwesterly direction bouncing off those mountains. So that's what that is. It's called the chase jet. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, definitely a lot of deep convection really blossoming out here. Actually, this hasn't updated in recent. But look at all of the lightning on this system. Yeah, we're not getting good satellite data at all. Yeah, our satellite data it's out. Yeah, we don't have any satellite data. But I'll tell you, look at all of the lightning down here. Tons and tons of lightning. Right here. Right here, right here, and right here. Lots of clusters of lightning going on. And that is a signal that this system is trying to intensify. You can definitely see how deep the convection was this morning and this afternoon. That outflow. That big overshooting top showing us just how vigorous the convection is. And here's infrared. Look at the infrared. Especially right here, look at this. Really bright gray colors, indicating really intense convection. Really cold cloud tops. Yeah, there's no closed circulation right now. But it's trying. It is definitely trying. With all that deep convection, something's going to form soon. And look at all that deep convection. Serious. It could certainly make landfall in Grand Isle, Griffin. It's not out of the question. But that is some very deep convection right there at one point. And there's another burst right there popping off. Popping off. And I do think we have mesosectors. Yeah, here's a mesosector. And look at this. That convection is very nasty. Doesn't surprise me, Justin. What is the water temperature? Let's take a look at Windy for that answer. Because windy.com will give us sea surface temperatures. So guess what the sea surface temperature is over the Gulf right now? Over this portion of the Gulf. I want you all to guess. I need you all to guess. What do you think the water temperature is over the Gulf right now? Again, for those that are tuning in, we are going to be waiting for our European model to render tonight. Oh, someone's really close. 88 to 89 degrees Fahrenheit. 88 to 89 degrees Fahrenheit. I will say that again. 88 to 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Really, really warm. Even look at along the coast of Louisiana, 86 degrees. So we're at 87 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. 89 even in some areas. So that is concerning. That is really warm. And I mean, there is no doubt that this thing could, if it develops an inner core quick enough, all bets are off. All bets are off. Even look at, even all the way up to the coast. Look at this, 82 degrees. Remember, you need 80 degrees or warmer. 80 Fahrenheit or warmer. 80 Fahrenheit or warmer to maintain a tropical storm or hurricane. All right? And we're well warmer than that. 87, 88, close to 89 degrees Fahrenheit. That's very warm. That is very warm. And that is actually warmer. Let's see. I don't know if I could find any place that is warmer than that. Yeah, look at this. Not quite as warm as the Indian Ocean. Or look at, not as warm as the, well, about as warm as the Western Pacific Basin. I mean, look at, like, you saw what happened with Yagi, Typhoon Yagi. Water temperatures there in the mid-80s, and that thing blew up in intensity. So we are as warm as the West Pacific, the Indian Ocean, or perhaps even the Red Sea. No, wait, no. Dead Sea is over here, I think. Or Red Sea, something like that. There's two different seas, but Abu Dhabi, water temperatures are in the mid-90s. So that's warm. That's as warm as you get with water temperatures. So that's why I am pretty concerned on this. For the next 60 hours, at least the next 60 hours. where this has the most potential. But yeah, there's your deep convection right there. So really warm water temperatures. The upper ocean heat content in this area is insane. It is the highest it has ever been in recorded history. Go look it up on Twitter. I'm not joking. I'm not saying that to freak you all out. It is real science. It is real, and it is very unfortunate. Here's another look at it. Again, that little patch of darker red right here is 175 units. The upper ocean heat content over here in the Caribbean has come down a little bit. So it's not off the charts like it was just a week and a half ago, but it is very warm nevertheless. This is still serious, and this is really big over here. All that upper ocean heat content. Of course, Lisa. Glad I'm doing a good job. Yeah, I would not be surprised if this undergoes rapid intensification briefly in its last bits before it encounters some negative weather conditions or some drier air. But right now, not looking bad. Looking pretty stinking crazy with those deep convective towers. And yes, lots of lightning going on. All of this right here, you're looking at a lot of lightning. And this is in real time. And there comes some more lightning strikes. So you can see this happening in real time. Yep, and there's more. There was just more lightning strikes. And you can see the circles. Yeah, definitely a lot going on right here, and right here. Some hot spots of lightning. Yes, I am on windy.com, folks. If you guys are wondering what program I am using windy.com. Link is in the chat if you all want to check that out. I'll put it in the chat, windy.com. Very good. Very good program to use. If you get the premium version, you get all of these layers. Ooh, there was more lightning right there. Oh, yeah. Got a huge spike of lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikes. And so you can get a lot. You can get thermals, cape, icing, freezing altitude. You can get clear air turbulence, cloud tops, fire danger, drought monitoring. What else? Dust mass, so you can look at the Saharan dust as well. Very cool. And best of all, you get the weather radar feature as well on this weather display. Really good. Also, I'm not going to put this in a voting section. I don't want to change the subject. I just thought of this because when I said display, something also popped up in my mind. And so, I need your guys' help. I know you're not my parents, you're not my mom and daddy, but you got to help out sometimes, right? So, If I could even find it. And there's all that lightning. So I am thinking about upping my production on my YouTube channel. And I want you all to decide. I know I should not be showing Amazon online, but you guys need to help me decide because I want some decisions here. I am thinking about getting a Promethean board where I could actually use my camera. So see my camera where I could point and stand up in front of the camera and point and look at the Promethean board when doing my weather updates. So I'm going to send this to you all. I'm going to just send you guys the name. Actually, no. Yeah. Because this, I just decided. They're expensive, though. They're extraordinarily expensive. But this is what I want to aim for my production of my YouTube channel. What did I just do with it? Right here, I want to aim to get a touchscreen, a big 55, 72-inch screen 4K display, and actually doodle on it. You could draw on this via touchscreen. You know what I'm doing. It's kind of like doing this, but you're actually able to stand up there and draw. And look at tropical tidbits, look at the models like you would do on the computer, and actually point and say, oh, there's a tropical storm, it's going to go that way, or this winter storm is going to be very big, and it's not a green screen. I could actually see with what I'm looking at instead of kind of doing this and looking, you know. So it's a work in progress. It's not going to be bought this year. It's probably going to be about a year from now because I'm over my budget for this year. But I was wondering, maybe if you guys could help me do research, and then maybe in tomorrow night's stream, you guys can probably send me a link or something, or say, hey, I found this on Amazon. I think you would really like it. But these are expensive. That's the killer here. Very expensive piece of technology, state of the art. And it needs to be a Windows operating system. So I'm able to like pop up Google Chrome, Firefox, that sort of thing, and just point and look in front of the camera and actually doodle. Save your money if you are in school. Well, school's free for me because the state pays for it, right? Only if you go to college. It costs money. It's not free then. But it's a lot of money, though. It is not cheap. And I want to make sure if I buy it, it's going to be worth it, you know? Because I don't want to buy something and I never use it again. Because I don't want to burn $300 or $3,000 or $2,500 down the drain. Because, oh, I bought it. Now no one is watching me anymore because I'm standing in front of a screen and no one's interested in watching me stand in front of a screen, pointing and annotating, right? So that's why I really want to make sure I'm making the right decision at doing an upgrade like this. It would probably benefit the channel, but I don't know how well it would benefit the channel, if that makes sense. I want to be careful. I really don't want to get ahead of myself sometimes. So, yeah. I am not setting up a GoFundMe for that. Heck no. I am not setting up a GoFundMe. Maybe I will if I don't let my parents decide what I do, but the family has to get involved with a project that is this big. A state-of-the-art technology. Something that's $3,000 is not something that's $300. This is, I mean, we're talking we're talking. Okay, let me bring up my my webcam really quickly. We're talking, folks. We are talking from right about here, where my hand is, all the way, probably to about here. We're talking something that is about as big, if not bigger, than the length of my arms. From here, from right here to right here. Really big. Really, really big and expensive. I'm short? What? I'm not short. I am not short. So, that's the thing. It's big. It's expensive. Because that's what I always wanted to do, is stand in front of the screen and tell about the weather, you know? I want to kind of get unique. I want to be unique at it. So, yeah. How tall am I? I am 5'10", 5 feet 10 inches. How tall are you guys? Since someone asked me that question, I could ask you guys that question. How tall are you guys? I'd be very shocked if someone is taller than me. Well, half the population that's watching this stream is probably a little taller than me. Oh, you're 6'2"? Oh, I'm 5'8". Oh, so you're just a couple of inches shorter than me, Kristen. 6'4". Wow, someone is a bit on the tall side. I guessed 1 inch off. Wow, yeah. 6 feet, 5'9". Wow, you're an inch shorter than me. Chris Live is 6'3", 5'10". Wow, Lisa, wow, 5'2", not bad, not bad. Angelina Commander, 5'4". Seems like 5'4", 5'8", 5'9" is more of the average. And that's how it's supposed to be. I'm always wondering what would happen if someone is 8 foot tall. Is that, I wonder if you can live still if you're 8 feet tall. I hear it's not good for the bones and for the muscle. Must be very unhealthy to live to be that tall, 7'5" or 8 feet tall. I'm 7'1", no lie. Whoa, Ryan, 7'1". Golly word. That's really tall. You would hit my fan up there. You would actually hit my fan. And it would probably not feel very good. Yeah, I'm 5'10". That's the tallest I'm gonna get. And I'm fine with that. It's very hard. If you're 7 feet tall, you should be doing basketball, not weather. Oh, I'm not. Nah. I am not a basketball player. I would not mind playing basketball, but you know what? Weather is my passion. Weather is my passion, and I love it. 8 feet knee problems. Yeah, I go figure. 7, 8 feet is kind of that unhealthy range. Hey guys, I have to head out in a few minutes because I have a meeting tomorrow morning and it's with... Oh, nice. Maybe a NHC meeting, huh? I can just see you working at the NHC, Greg D. I have a meeting tomorrow, by the way, with AT&T because someone's getting a new phone. Yeah, someone's ordering a new phone. An iPhone 16. iPhone 16! I'm 6'1". Oh, you're 2 to 3 inches taller than me, Greg D. We could be brothers. We could literally be brothers. Man, I wish you all were just in California and you guys were within 8 miles from me. Then I could actually drive by and wave to you all. That's the sad thing about... It's fun to live stream and it's fun to interact with you guys, but I feel so bad. It's like, man, I want to talk to my viewers in person. I actually want to interact. I guess that's what Discord is for. You could follow me on Discord. Yes, iPhone 16. The iPhone 16. Yeah, 10 a.m. Mark your calendar. 10 a.m. tomorrow, the iPhone 16 on Apple's Glow Time event. And I'm getting up at like 7:30 or 8 in the morning because I'm driving over to AT&T to get it. Well, not to actually get it in my hands, but to pre-order it because they're doing pre-orders. And I'm afraid AT&T is going to be really busy tomorrow. So I want to get there and I want to be first pick, first come, first serve basis over here. Wildfires, yes, there's a lot of wildfires burning in California. Well, kind of in California. It's this hot weather, I'm telling you, it's just not, it hasn't been friendly this year. All the smoke is actually up there in Washington. Yeah, look at that air quality. Very bad air quality. Yeah, look at it. There's another fire right here breaking out. Another big wildfire. And there's a lot of smoke over here in the Midwest as well. And look at all that smoke. Man, that's very unhealthy air quality. Also, a lot of smoke in the Midwest too. So some of you are probably wondering why the sun was kind of orange today. And that's because of all that smoke. For some reason, I always think smoke is like dust in the air, but it's not dust. It's actually very unhealthy. It's actually just as unhealthy as it is with dust. Oh, nice. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're EMS. You're EMA. Oh, actually, EMA. Hurricane models are out now. Oh, boy. Are they? Are they? Are they? Oh, yep, they're out. They're out, and that means you all gotta come back on and watch me because we are going to play this through. See, it was nice to have a little bit of an intermission, a little bit of a hangout, talk time. What's up, Chase Bank? Chase Bank. Who has Chase Bank as their banker? I love Chase. I love Chase Bank. They're clean. They're blue. They're blue, blue, blue. Clean sky blue, water blue. I've had them since I was 16 years old. And I still have them this day. Oh, nice, Greg. Wow, so you have a tall family. The line fire is the biggest fire burning right now. The park fire is 99% contained. What's up, Aaron? How are you doing? How is my guy? Have you had any west winds? Any like this onshore breezes? We have not had hardly any wind here. It's been miserable. Hot, and miserable. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for freaking fall. What's up, Jeffrey? Yeah. How are you doing? Some people don't like banking with Chase. Chase has been decent for me. Nice, Jays. I like Chase because you can see your budget. And I keep an eye on my budget that way. It really is helpful. It really is. Because I'm getting that car soon. I'm trying to get a car. A nicer one, at least. Well, the one that I drive actually gets like 30.5 miles, 31 miles to the gallon. But that's because I drive slow. Well, not kind of. Well, I drive 45 in a 55 zone as long as there's no one behind me. But when someone gets behind me, I always tell myself, darn it, why do you have to drive behind me? You know? Because then I have to speed up and that burns more fuel. That burns more fuel. I've went 135 miles on this tank so far, and I still have a 100% full tank. I think I've overtopped my tank in my car, so I might be able to get like 460 miles, 480 miles. I'd honk at you, David, laughing out loud. Oh my God, Kristen. Oh. What's up, Skunk Work? How are you doing? Watching from Central Florida. How are you doing, brother? Smelly skunk. I'm just kidding. Yeah, gotta be careful for them skunks, because they stink when they spray. We could eat the skunk. No, I'm just kidding. We could eat this hurricane, though. This hurricane's disgusting out here in the Atlantic. 957 millibars, too. Look how big that is. It just sits there. It's just sitting there. Navy Fed, nice. I'm watching from Vermilion Parish. Let's go. Yup. Vermilion Bay, too. And that's trouble. That is trouble for you. 33.7 scare now. I mean, look what could be coming your way on the GFS. We got to really watch that. We really do. I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You know I play around with you guys. I enjoy you guys. I really do. I wonder if anyone could eat skunk as long as you cook it, though. I wonder what it would taste like if you did. Someone really wanted to ask me that question. I drive a 2009 Honda CR-V. So I drive a 2009 Honda CR-V. And again, the secret for those that are watching, accelerate slowly. All right, don't hit the pedal to the metal right away. You're actually going to burn more fuel than you think you burn. You have to accelerate. I try to accelerate at a rate while I keep my RPMs lower than about 2.5. I don't let my RPMs to get more than 2 to 2.5. And I find it better. Also, I am on a tangent of saving fuel that there's this little road, and actually I want to show you guys this. Another little intermission here while we're waiting for the Euro to come out in our hurricane models. If you guys live in Lodi, please avoid Lower Sacramento. There are 5 traffic lights that don't know how to run on timers very well. So I end up hitting every single red light. So when I get to work, I shouldn't be showing my location here, but like literally driving down Lower Sacramento, hitting 5 or 6 traffic lights and them all being red is annoying. It really is annoying. So what I end up doing, and why do I close that all the time? So what I end up doing is so once I get to Woodbridge, I end up going out on a road like this. So I end up going out here to Davis Road, and then I go all the way down. This is my new route that I'm doing, and it's actually saving me gas a little bit. So I end up going all the way down Davis Road until I get to Highway 12, which is here. And then I turn on Highway 12 and go this way, and then I go to work. Yes, it's a little longer, but actually I'm not hitting as many stop signs. I only hit like 2 or 3 stop signs versus 5 traffic lights that are red. What's up, Leanne? Houston traffic is the worst. Yeah, I agree. I haven't drone through Houston, but I driven through San Antonio and for the solar eclipse, and it wasn't, yeah, it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty. I almost hit someone when I got off the freeway. Still remember it. Traumatized by a little bit by that. Yeah. I did not like it. And me thinking about it right now, yeah, gets to me. Is Southern Alabama good? For right now, sort of. Winds of about 30 to 40 miles an hour are expected for the Alabama area. Especially to the south, you have that southerly wind that's going to be moving into the area. And those wind gusts could be 35 to 40 miles an hour. So I don't know if you guys caught me there. Andy Smith, yes, it's a clickbait title because this just got worse. Yes. And look at the models. Look at the models. And you tell me. I'll admit I did go a little over the top with the thumbnail and title this time, but dude, come on. We know it's going to become a hurricane. We know it could intensify to more than 80 miles an hour. Yeah. David, I have the same thing happen to me on Coral Way here in Miami between Southwest 107th and 92nd Avenue. David, you need to drive here in Miami. Oh, gosh. No. But I'll tell you right now. So the traffic lights on Lower Sacramento in the middle of the night when I'm off of work, okay? When I'm off of work, I get off at midnight at the latest sometimes, and I'll hit Elm Street, Lower Sacramento and Elm Street, the light. The light will randomly turn red going in my direction on Lower Sac. So I'm on Lower Sac, I hit a red light, and the other opposing direction, it's green, okay? No cars coming, it stays green for 2 minutes. Green going this way, all right, on Elm Street. And Lower Sacramento is red. And it's like, dude, why are we waiting here when there's no cars coming? I was almost ready to call Public Works and tell them, dude, you need to fix your traffic lights. Because I'm hitting every red light here, and there's a lot of cars that pile up. Not like pile up, but like, traffic builds up. Because if you hit every red light, it just does, the traffic flow is not good. Yeah, the lights are on timers, Chase. I'll tell you right now, the lights on timers on Lower Sacramento suck. They do suck, and that's why I'm not, and I hope I didn't cuss. I didn't sound like I cussed there, but sometimes the mic could do that, but like, the lights are terrible. I do not like them, and so that's why I bypass them. I'm going around, because that saves me gas. All right, so Halves A is in session. I wonder if it's a little bit ahead in or on tropical tidbits. Is it? Yeah, so we're a little bit ahead on tropical tidbits right now. This did get a little stronger, a little weaker. It's about the same intensity. It's a little closer to the ocean, though, on this model run. On this run. I work at a grocery store. I work at a grocery store and push carts. I clean the floors and do other sorts of stuff. That's what I do. and I bag groceries for customers. And sometimes I don't even want to go to work. Not because of YouTube, but just because it's stressful. It's tough. It's not the easiest, especially sometimes when I'm working by myself. And how the automated schedule works is it's based on the sales and yeah. Stop Drug Inspector 12. How are you doing? By the way, if you guys are new to the stream and you like the content, share, like, and subscribe. Subscribe like you mean it. In other words, smile like you mean it. It's a song. This is weaker though. This model is weaker on the halves A. Let's see what about the halves B model. Halves B. Oh, that's out to 36 hours. Oh, halves B is a little stronger and a little further offshore. 987 millibars. 987. What's up, Ava Light? How are you doing? Thanks again. Yep, of course. Yes, Kevin Clements, yes. I believe Albertsons owns Publix. I think so. It's under the same thing. But yeah, so I shouldn't tell you exactly where I work, but a heck with it, I will, because it really doesn't matter at this point. I work at Safeway, and I do courtesy clerk work, so I push carts, I clean the floors, I make sure the floors are clean, and yes, they're strict about that. You have to punch your sweeps every 30 minutes. So you do a whole sweep inspection, then you have to, after that, you got to punch your sweeps. If you don't, yeah, the manager gets to get mad at you. And so that's what I do. I bag groceries for the customers. I do go backs. I do service outs. And I clean the restrooms. And yeah, people are not clean sometimes. And I'm glad I get tomorrow off. No, wait. I work tomorrow at 8 p.m. I work tomorrow at 8 p.m., but that's fine. Because I'll be able to... Oh, and that means I can't live stream tomorrow night at all. So I will have to stream earlier tomorrow. So probably not a video discussion. It's going to be a live stream discussion instead. So if you guys are expecting a video from me, don't expect one tomorrow. It's definitely going to be a live stream. How come you don't do weather full time? Because California is not cheap. Yeah. You guess how much expenses I spend on you guys. Well, not on you guys, but on YouTube. Guess how much expenses I do. And some of them are really not necessary, but some of them are necessary. Guess how much? 0 roommates. I actually live with my grandma, so I don't live with roommates. Not $15,000, no. I spend on average about $350 a month on expenses for the YouTube channel. That includes all the software like Weatherbell, weathermodels.com, Radar Omega, WSV3. What else do we got? Windy.com, that's a premium, so that is not free. What else? Gosh, I can't name everything on the top of my head, but it's not cheap. It's not. On top of rent, I have to pay my grandma $300 to $700 in rent, depending on my earnings from YouTube. So that goes into the expenses. It really does. It adds up. It really does. Believe me, I would love to do YouTube full time. I wish I had the authority over that. Boy, if I could get $1 million a month, yeah, I could make YouTube my full-time job. But honestly, it's nice to work out in public. It really is. And it's fun to have two different jobs. It really is. It really is. I'm not joking. Just because I work doesn't mean I'm leaving you guys. I would never leave you guys. Except I said it the other night, and I'm sorry. I went off on a little rant on, not last night, but the night before. It was. Yes, Chase, yeah. And honestly, I am so glad. I love where I'm living right now. Look at, you want to see? I got this whole room to myself. It's my office. Yup, it's my office. And you can see there is my workstation. And there's you guys. I'm looking at the chat. I'm trying to set up a store as well, so that should actually be my third source eventually. But again, it's not about the money. It's about enjoying what you do. It's about enjoying what you do. But yeah, dream is full-time YouTuber. Full-time. But you can't wish and get your way all the time. So give it time. Chances of me being a full-timer, not happening right now on YouTube until I hit 100,000 or more subscribers. That's cool. You don't be going live playing video games. Yeah. You know, when there's really nothing I need to do for the channel, I do play games, but I don't live stream on them. But believe me, just because I don't upload on YouTube doesn't mean, oh, I get all the precious free time out there. No, I need to work on my winter forecast coming up for the winter season, and that should hopefully be out in late September, early October. So it's, you know, I don't get a lot of free time. I really don't. Because I have to help my grandma, and then I have to do stuff around the house. Yeah, when I'm not working, I'm working. Thank you so much, Just Like You. David, being in Sacramento, how did you get interested in tropical weather? Tropical weather interests me. It really does. I like tropical weather. Probably because the phases, the steps into getting a tropical cyclone. I just like how weather runs in general. I like action. I don't like boring weather, you know. When there's a tropical system and if it gets my attention and I feel like, man, this is what my audience wants to see, well, I'm going to upload on it. And fortunately, I have high demand. I do good in the tropics. And when I do good in the tropics, that makes me upload. You know, people like me, so that's why. Man, this system, I'm telling you, 957 millibars. 957. I want to throw the halves B out of the window, but that's scary because that might actually happen. What about the halves A model? Halves A model, not as strong as the halves B is. But that really develops. Man, that thing gets nasty. That is a very strong system. And that's why, folks, we use high-resolution hurricane models. That's exactly why we use these. You can't rely solely on a GFS model. You just can't. Because it's not as high resolution. In fact, if we do the GFS model, what's more high resolution? This or that? And you guys will probably say HAVS-B is. Because that's exactly what it is. HAVS-B is more high resolution. Thank you so much, Ryan. You're also awesome. Thank you, Charles. I know, Aaron. Same thing. I hate the hot and sunny weather. I don't mind the sunsets, though. About the best time to go outside is about 6:30 this time of the year, even 7 o'clock, and watch the sunset. I love that. That's the exciting part. Soil to soul. GFS doing GFS things, laughing out loud. What's up, Lisa Dawes? How are you? Again, welcome back. Doesn't this look like Pac-Man, by the way? I don't know if anyone sees this. Doesn't this actually look like Pac-Man? I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing things. Maybe I'm not hallucinating, but I'm seeing things. It does look like Pac-Man. I don't know if anyone sees that. David, you're very well with the weather, brother. Thank you. You're very good, too. It does now that you say it. Yeah, right there. Look at the screen. Pac-Man. Only we need like these yellow blobs like this. Come on, Pac-Man, eat the yellow ball. Eat it. Eat them. Let's see if Pac-Man is there still. Man, oh, living the HAVS-B is going a little crazy. It has Pac-Man only for, yeah, look at, has Pac-Man on here, and it has Pac-Man on here, and that's it. Only for 2 frames it has Pac-Man. Eat the blue high pressure center. Maybe we could call Michael Brown the Bermuda high pressure system. Or the Pacific high. This big old monster out here of a pressure system. The big ridge. Like, look at this little guy over here. I like looking at high pressures like that. I just like how atmospheric circulations occur. Actually, I wanted to show you guys something. Speaking of that, and I think you guys will like this. So, have you guys downloaded the app on Apple Store? It's called Wind Tunnel. Do you guys ever recognize the app on Apple called Wind Tunnel? Lightning popping off. Yes. There's a lot of lightning right here. Let's see the halves A model. Oh man, this is gonna be a nasty run. I can just see it. Inner core developing on the halves A model. And it is a little further to the east and south. Look at that. Actually a lot deeper. 986 to now 973 millibars. Halves B in the same area has it a little weaker, but really strengthens it after. But yeah, this is what I have. That's my weather simulation. So I could actually add do you guys see that? You could make like little areas of low pressure. So I could make like blocking ridges and stuff. Oh, thank you, Angela, for the $5 donation. Oh, this is intensifying. The system is strengthening, potentially. And it looks like it's going to hit southwestern Louisiana. So, yeah, and you could actually add, let me do one more to show you guys. I don't know how good that was. Oh, yeah. It's right down here. You can see the wind blowing that way. I sounded drunk for a second. Oh my gosh. It's probably my personality getting in the way of me. See, I like weather so much. It's Wind Tunnel, Ryan. So if you guys are interested in Wind Tunnel, it's on the Apple Store for free. It is free. One more look again. And that's what it looks like. And the white stuff is smoke. It's supposed to show clouds and smoke and stuff. Wind currents. And you can do different things. Let's see what you can do. You can plot curl. So what I can do is draw on it. And you could see the curl. Vorticity, right? In fluid dynamics. And then there's another one here. I don't know how good that one is. But you can do that. And then one more you can do is pressure. Pressure is not as good. I don't like pressure. But what you can do is then you can just show wind speed or velocity. So you can see what the wind is doing. It is really good. It's addicting. It is so addicting. I can promise you that. But just to let you know, if you do change a scene, you have to draw your smoke again. Oh, wait, no, you don't. Just go to draw smoke, and then it should pop right back up. I do like weather, yes. I like fluid dynamics. I just like fluid physics, how things evolve, vorticity. What is vorticity? You know, it's just amazing. It really is. And do I rarely bring my religion into this? It's amazing what God has done when it comes to vorticity, designing the weather at our fingertips. It really is. It's just powerful. It's amazing. It really is. It's not amazing when you get a hurricane this strong, though, out in the Atlantic. Oh, my goodness griefus. Luckily, that's not going to go much further west, and it's going to go north. That is a strong hurricane, though. My goodness. That is a strong, big old hurricane. Thank you so much. When weather is in motion, it stays in motion. All right, so let's look at our halves A again. I want to see the halves A. Okay, this is not good. This is not good. It's stronger. It is definitely stronger. Halves A is going a little crazy. Yeah, it hasn't loaded in weathermodels.com yet. But I can see that is at least 85 or 90 knots. So that's a 100-mile-an-hour hurricane right there. Actually, 85 knots, so that is 95 miles an hour. It gets a little stronger, 90 knots. So that's about a little over 100 miles an hour. So this is still showing intensification on the halves A. Yeah, looks like our halves B is not any more aggressive. But let's see what our H-Wharf is showing. I've not shown the H-Wharf yet. Oh, H-Wharf is still rendering. Let's see the H-Mon. H-Mon is just coming in. See, it actually shows there's going to be some pretty extensive deepening here in about 60 hours. That's what this is showing. And this really uptrended in just the last run. So that is really noteworthy right there. Yep, David Lee, unfortunately, yes. Thank you so much, Lisa P. Yeah, I was going to add a little bit of a testimony, not really a testimony, but a little bit of a, what would you say? A little bit of a Bible reading at the end of my videos, but half of the votes say no and half of the votes say yes. So it's probably not a good idea for the channel, which is unfortunate, but it's probably for the better. Because I see 2 other channels doing it, and they seem to not have an issue with it. So that's why I was like, maybe I should do that, but I guess it's not a good idea. Zombie X Gaming, still about 85 miles an hour is what I'm expecting. I'm not going any higher than 85. I think I'm holding it at 85 for right now. But that's stronger than Debbie. That is stronger than Beryl. Because this is going to be a hurricane once it makes landfall in Louisiana. I'm really curious what they're doing with 92L, though. Is 92L going to be something? Let's see. No! Not much strengthening with that. Interesting. Yeah, both of these models not showing any strengthening with 92L at all. Pressure dropped on this, not yet, no. Well, I only can get the last 2 runs on Tropical Tidbits for some reason. Well, this is redesignated as PTC now. But yeah, look at all that deep convection firing up. Really deep. Yeah, this looks like it's going to get sheared. The eye is going to remain open to the north. Or to the south, I meant. But still going to become a hurricane. I think it's going to be able to do that, unfortunately. Oh, you're very welcome, Blessed. Bloodine. I think that's their name, right? I appreciate that. I want to thank you all for supporting the channel thus far. I mean, I cannot believe it. We're almost to 30,000 subs. Started this 2 years ago on the 16th of September. Yeah, the 2-year birthday on this channel is coming right up. And I'm so glad I'm here doing it still today. Can't believe it. It's been 2 years. 2 years flies by. We'll see, Jeff. Maybe once a week I'll do something. Maybe on a Sunday I will. But speaking of the hurricane, you guys, what does that say up there? What does that say? Why are you crying, Kristen? What's going on? What's going on? What do you think working and schools will be closed? It just depends on the extent. Thank you, Charles. That's 99.2 knots. So that is about 114, 115 miles an hour. That's up in that range. That's close. 95 knots, 96 knots. That's within major intensity. So 96 to 99 knots. And that has pressure down to 9. Is that 951 or is that 961? I think that's 961 millibars. That's pretty deep. That's a really deep system. So what does that mean for Louisiana? We will find out from the halves A in just a little bit once this is done rendering. We did get the halves B onshore already. So that looks like it's going to be Wednesday night in 75 hours. On this run, near hurricane intensity, winds of about 70 knots or so. Actually, no, that would be hurricane intensity. Yeah, so 80 miles an hour onshore, moving over Louisiana, and you can see that right there. 34 knots, that's about 40 mile an hour winds at the surface by Wednesday night into Thursday. The halves B, we're waiting for that to make its way onshore. And it looks like it's going to be about the same time. We don't get a wind shear on this, but it doesn't look like, oh no, this does not look like a whole lot of wind shear at all. On the halves A, look at the deep convection on that. Look at the deep convection. Very deep. Very deep. What's up, Carrie? How are you? But yeah, this is a really impressive cloud shield on this model. Not much shear. There is some shear probably undercutting the cirrus outflow here. You can see a lot of this is cirrus outflow. Well, wow, look at that deep convection within that on the simulated forecast. This would probably be a Category 2 hurricane as far as a satellite presentation perspective goes. Let's see with what the H-Wharf shows. Or HMON. Let's go to the HMON. That's 69 hours in. Yeah, this is down to 973 millibars with winds of about 64 to almost 80 knots. So that is about 80 to 85, close to 90 miles an hour in the same area of Louisiana. And this would be for Wednesday afternoon on the H-Mon. But on the on the halves A run, it's going to be about the same time, but only more intense. The halves B and halves A are pretty aggressive on this cycle. David, I'm in the path of this storm. Carrie, which town do you live in? Carrie? But yeah, we do have a lot of people that live in this area. Right over here, all the way to Port Sulphur. I'm still thinking this area right here, this yellow area that I'm boxing in, definitely has the potential to see a landfall. So that box area that I put in yellow is the area that I'm keeping an eye on. This could shift a little further west, so keep an eye on this. Cameron, if you're in Abbeville, Lake Charles, if you're in, say, Morgan City, you definitely need to be watching this one. Because it's not going to end well if you can't get prepared, if you know. I'm sure you all will listen to me because you guys are awesome. Talk about Baton Rouge, please. So Baton Rouge, Louisiana could certainly get impacted, especially if this goes over Vermilion Bay right here, and this goes like up like this. Yeah, you're going to get a little potch on the butt over that area with heavy rainfall, strong winds, power outages. That's a guarantee. Even so, the system, again, assuming that it's not as strong, then it would probably be definitely a tropical storm over here with 40 to 60 mile an hour winds. But if it ends up making landfall much stronger, then Baton Rouge will be in a lot more trouble, potentially, than what models are showing. Guaranteed on that. So this is making landfall at about 960 millibars. That's pretty deep. And this is going right over Vermilion Bay into Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This would be a pretty devastating situation. Very heavy rainfall. Intense rainfall over that area. So, yeah, this is a really bad situation. Really bad. I mean, look at how intense that rain is, that northern eye wall. And this will make landfall by about Wednesday early afternoon. Hopefully I could stream it, though. I want to stream this. It depends on my work schedule, though. Actually, what is my work schedule looking like for Wednesday? Boy, I'm going to just be busy this week on YouTube. To be expected, though. Okay, so 3 to 7 on Wednesday. Oh, man, I really, really hope it could wait until I get home. Man, I am not thrilled about that. Because I work 3 to 7 on Wednesday. It's 4 hours. I can probably keep the stream running if necessary. Probably going to have to go live on this for sure. Definitely. What's up, Lori Martin? When is the next update? You're probably referring to tomorrow. I'm going to go live probably about 2 or 3 in the afternoon tomorrow. Because I have to go to AT&T in the morning to get my new phone. Well, not get my new phone, but order a new phone. Pre-order it. So That needs to be done first. And then after that, I should be able to go do a live stream for at least 2 or 3 hours tomorrow. At least 2 hours. Wednesday night. That's what, let's see what the GFS shows on timing. Yeah, see, looks like Wednesday night. It's going to be moving on shore. I'm impressed by the hurricane models, though, that they're a little fast on the motion. I think it's going to be more like Wednesday night. Yeah, this is showing 70 hours out, so... Man, I sure hope I can make it home in time, though. I really do. I work 3 p.m. until 7 p.m. on Wednesday. Pacific time. So that would be 5 p.m. 5 to 9 Central time. Which, by the way, this is tropical storm force winds here on the map. So this is directly impacting Baton Rouge, Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana as tropical storm force winds. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal. Let's see what the European model shows now. The Euro is coming out. Good old Euro model is rendering as we speak. Oh my gosh, this is stronger. This is stronger on the Euro. This is stronger on the Euro. This is... Wow. If the GFS is onto something, then GFS is definitely onto something. It's definitely a lot slower on this run. So this is a Euro rendering right now, 40 hours in, and this is a tropical storm. So, yeah, every model pretty much on board. This is going to get named. This is going to get named by tomorrow morning. So let's look at the halves A. I think the halves A is finally... Why isn't this rendering? Come on, why are we not rendering? We only have the halves B in on Weatherbell. But that's why we have tropical tidbits as well. And that's a 978. That's a pretty... It's not as deep, but it's filling in, but it is definitely low. So, what does the system look like right now? Let's take a look at it. Doesn't look good. It does not look good at all. Look at the deep convection. This up here is very aggressive. Really blowing up. It's slowed down a little bit, Jeff, but again, the system has not consolidated yet, so models are still trying to figure out where a center will form, when it will form. Until that happens, we're going to probably see a little shifts in the intensity and timing of landfall. Aaron, systems don't necessarily move very slow through the Gulf. This one in particular is because it's encountering weak steering currents right now. And there's a barrier effect, a barrier wind coming in out of the north. So what it's doing is it's keeping the vorticity down here, and it's elongated. Once this thing consolidates, it will be moving a little faster. But yeah, look at this. Look how deep that convection is. Really deep up there. I bet you there's a lot of lightning on that. Oh, yeah. Definitely a lot of lightning still going on. Our Euro, let's see our Euro now. Oh, yes. Euro, Euro, Euro. That definitely has uptrended. That's a hurricane on the Euro. 60 hours out. 60 hours out, we have a hurricane on the Euro. All the models now on board. Every model tonight has a hurricane in about 60 hours. Dang, that GFS shows a 946. Whoa, 946. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, that's a very strong extratropical cyclone. 943 millibars. Hey, Aaron, let me ask you this question. What if that was right off the California coast? What if that was right off the California coast? Fantasy at its best from the GFS. Exactly. Yeah, look at how it moves. Look at how it moves. It just goes, whoop, it plays with it. It literally messes with it. It just sits there for a little while, and then it just deepens and goes north. Be some serious mudslides. Yeah. That's a big wind field, man. That's a big, big wind field. That is going to be a storm in the middle of the Atlantic. That's a very awkward move, track for a system to move north like that. That's a very weak ridge. Very weak ridge. Something like, yeah. Maybe we can call this this could be the Jeff model run. No, I'm just kidding. It's playing with that system, though. It's playing with it fun. It's messing with it. Oh, let's look at the Northern Hemisphere really quickly. Any sneaky Arctic outbreaks? Just kidding. There is nothing. There's that circulation. Look at that. Right there. Lots of cold air, warmer air up there. Siberia is going to have a big cool down coming. Hard to believe it's temperatures there in the freezing mark. Sure cools down quickly in Siberia. Okay, let's see what our Euro's showing now. It barely hangs on to a hurricane. It barely hangs on to a hurricane. It does hit it, though. It reaches hurricane intensity briefly. 84 miles an hour. That counts. That counts. 981 millibars, though. It goes down to 976 millibars. I wonder what it's doing with our tropical wave, though, in the central Atlantic, though. Let's look at that really quick. Is it messing with that one too? Is it playing like a toy? Maybe it's playing with it like a toy. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be the more dominant wave right here that takes off. That's what the GFS is also indicating. Pretty much on the same solution. Okay. So I think we had our answers or our questions answered. The European model makes this onshore over Vermilion Bay by Wednesday night into Thursday. So I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. Looks like we have a little bit of a warm front, though. A little bit of a boundary right here. Interestingly. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions at all? If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do so. So this is probably going to end up, it's hard to say if this is going to be a below average season. I think at least average is what I'm still going for. David Lee, I'm going to try to stream the landfall. It depends on what time it makes landfall and if I could be off of work in time. I'm not off of work until 7 o'clock on Wednesday. So I am not sure if I'm going to be able to be off of work in time. If it makes landfall, it's going to have to make landfall early Thursday morning. So the European models indicates that this is going to become a Category 1 hurricane with about 80 to 85 mile an hour winds. Based on the model cycle that we got in tonight's live stream, I'm going to hold it at 85 miles an hour. I'm not going to up my intensity forecast at all just yet. So I am forecasting an 85 mile an hour hurricane hitting southern Louisiana near Vermilion Bay. This is where I think it's going to make landfall. Right in this area is where I see a potential landfall for right now. And that's where the Euro pretty much has it right down in the middle. What's up, Deanna Kelly? Lots of questions about coastal Mississippi. So right now for coastal Mississippi, let me go to the deep south sector here. So that's what we're looking at. So the deep south sector on the GFS model, if we just look at the GFS right now, the coastal Mississippi area, you're going to, along the coast, you might have 35 to 50 mile an hour winds coming in out of the southerly direction. Wind gusts potentially between 45 to 55 miles an hour. So that's going to increase the risk for some high surf and some coastal flooding. And speaking of that, let's see if the European wave forecast is in. Yep. And the surf, yeah, so the wave action, the waves have gotten higher on this run. Now we're up to 30 feet. Last model run, we were at 20 feet. So this has increased by 10 feet, and we could be looking at some breakers approaching 45 to 60 feet along the coast of Louisiana. So that is a potential here. So a lot of big waves, surf, and some coastal flooding for sure, storm surge, that sort of thing. You're very welcome. It's not looking good for Louisiana. I mean, as much as I would I would hate to hype this up. I think we do. We have to kind of add a little bit of hype in this because this is a big situation. I mean, you're going to have onshore flow here. This is all going to be storm surge Mageddon over the Lake Pontchartrain, including for Biloxi, Mississippi. And once you get that onshore breeze, look at this. This could be a really big storm surge threat, for sure. How to find the velocity potential. So in order to go to that, it's a paid website, Tashawn. So what you're going to want to do is go to weathermodels.com. Okay. So weathermodels.com does have it. So let me zoom out here. So if you go to Model Lab on weathermodels.com, you can get to it, but you have to pay. It's not a free subscription. You have to pay in order to use these products. And this is how you get the velocity potentials. Or you can look at it only on the GFS model, and that's the free version. But this is more of a better version. Lots of upward motion coming. Yes, favorable period coming, folks, through the end of September. We saw this coming, and it looks like it's coming right now. Yeah, look at this. Clear convective coupled Kelvin waves coming in. Most certainly. So that's what we have expected right now. All these convective coupled Kelvin waves coming in. And then on the GFS, you could find it right here. And yeah, that's a big, nasty signal by late September, early October. Favorable environment here through the middle of September. It gets briefly unfavorable, and then it gets favorable again. So that's how you get there. You have to use weathermodels.com, Model Lab, and you'll be able to find it. See, folks, look at how advanced I am. Do you guys think I'm advanced? Because I'm using websites that cost money. I'm not using no Tropical Tidbits, which, by the way, Tropical Tidbits was my very first website that I used when I was younger. And then I discovered these other weather websites. So, yeah. What about Liberty, Mississippi? So Liberty, Mississippi. Oh, wait. Yeah. So Liberty, Mississippi, you're going to definitely get some strong winds with this. If we look at the wind forecast on the GFS model, Liberty, Mississippi is up in here. You're definitely going to get some wind. Some wind, some heavy rainfall, and flooding. That is a guarantee right now. Okay. But yeah, you can do a lot with this. This is really, really cool tool. Trying to find the rainfall total map here. Let's see if I could find it. Oh yeah, right here, rain accumulation. So if you use the European, oh, this is helpful. You could actually view the whole thing. So this is the rainfall total on the Euro. Lafayette, 7 inches of rainfall. I mean, this is a lot of rain. Look at this right here. Greenville, maybe a foot of rain. And Bay City, Texas, 17 inches of rain. That's a lot. So Covington, Louisiana is also going to get a lot of rain. 4 to 6 inches of rain is expected there. Hammond, Louisiana. Also you're also looking at about 3 to 5 inches of rainfall in Hammond, Louisiana. But again, it could go up a lot more. Just be aware of that. New Orleans. So New Orleans, you're looking at about 4 to 6 inches of rain. What's up, Stop Playing, by the way? How are you doing? Stop Playing. I love that name. I really do. Stop Playing. Where is it predicted to hit? It's predicted to hit. Stop Playing. Can say that over and over again. I love that name. Stop Playing. So right now, Vermilion Bay on the GFS is where I think it's going to hit. But I'm waiting for that halves A to render. Okay, here it is. Now it's finally caught up. Yeah, that's a major hurricane right there. 114 mile an hour winds. Yeah, that's a big deal. And this moves onshore over Vermilion Bay as a Category 1, maybe a Category 2 hurricane. Look at that. 65 mile an hour winds. And still look at this, the northern end of this. Really strong fetch of wind. 25 to 35 miles an hour with gusts well in excess of about 55 to 60 miles an hour. Perhaps, yeah, look at that. Look at these wind gusts. Perhaps 70 miles an hour over Arkansas and Tennessee. Man, that is a strong, strong system. And you're getting there about 35 to 40 miles an hour. Wow, that is a strong system. It weakens fast, Cameron, but thank you so much, Tex Tally. Stop Playing. It's going to come in at about a Category 1 or 2. I'm guessing right now a Category 1 with 85 mile an hour winds at landfall. That's what I'm predicting. Oh, you laughed at that. I just realized that. Stop Playing, yeah. I love that name. I just do. Stop playing. Stop playing my video game. And I could just say that name over and over again. Yeah, look at this. There's even a little patch of gusts here over northeastern Arkansas that could approach 75 miles an hour. That'll take down trees and power lines. Well, this could make landfall at a Category 2 with, again, 90 to 95 on the halves A with wind gusts at major hurricane intensity. Yeah. Okay, one more question. Actually, we'll close down questions in 5 minutes, okay? So you have 5 minutes. because I need to get to bed because I'm going to get up early to go to AT&T. I've been live for 3 hours. That's a long day. So Holden, Louisiana. So Holden, Louisiana, you're expecting to get about 3.5 to 4 inches, but the winds in your area, Holden, Louisiana, you could see wind gusts in excess of 70 to 80 miles an hour easily. Tropical storm force winds for sure. Oh, yeah, I know, Kristen. You're a loyal. You're awesome. But it is getting late. It is. I got to get up early to go and get a new phone. Pre-order a new phone, not get it. Yep. The weather guy, the weather person's got to get the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Luck with having I'm able to get one like that for a trade-in. And it has a better camera, so I'm going to see if I can try filming. Me not really doing the weather, but my intros. I would be like, good afternoon, everybody. You know. I'll see, though. What about rain and winds in Houston? Right now, Houston could have winds. Here's a big range of wind possibility, all right, Lisa? You could have winds between 10 to 35 miles an hour. Between 10 and 35 miles an hour with gusts between 30 to 90 miles an hour. Again, that's just a rough range because, again, based on where our exact system goes, you're looking at 30 to 90 mile an hour winds and sustained winds 10 to 35 miles an hour. Is it trending towards Texas? No, Cameron, it is not. It is definitely moving towards Louisiana on the latest trends. But we won't know for sure until tomorrow afternoon. That's why, because tomorrow afternoon when I go live, this could be a lot more stronger than what the model shows here. This is a 55 mile an hour tropical storm. So we're just going to have to wait and see what it shows. But wow, look at the deep convection here to the north. Really exploding. You're very welcome, Lisa. How about Gulfport, Mississippi? So Gulfport, Mississippi, you're expecting to see about 6 inches of rainfall. 6 inches of rainfall and winds probably about 30 to 45 miles an hour. And wind gusts in excess of 60 to 70 miles an hour. So enough to blow down trees and power lines. Suzanne, let me see if there's an eye. I don't think there is on here. No, there is no eye. But there is definitely a big, massive, deep convection is what this model is picking up on. Yeah, see, there's another piece of deep convection right there. There will be an eye-like future, but it will be cloud-filled. How about Gonzales? All right, one more question, folks. One more question. So Gonzales, Louisiana, let's see where that's at. Somewhere over here. Let's see. I should know this already, Gonzales. So, Gonzales, Louisiana is going to get, oh, there it is. You're going to get 3 to 6 inches of rainfall and winds anywhere, so It's right there. Yeah, so you're going to get some serious winds. Yeah, you're going to get winds of about 35 to 50 miles an hour with wind gusts potentially as high as 80 to 90 miles an hour. All right. Big, yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, I got to your question, big baller. Yes. Because when you said, dang, man, thanks for the info, I thought you were like a little mad or something. So, but yeah, I have to get to bed, folks. I'm going to get up at like 7 in the morning. I have not a long day. It could be a long day if I don't get sleep. But anyways, I will be live tomorrow. I am not doing a video. Don't expect a video for me. If you just watch my videos, don't expect me tomorrow. But if you watch my live streams, I will be live tomorrow, probably at about 1:30 in the afternoon, maybe 1 in the afternoon if I can get home in time, because that's when the new NHC advisory will be coming out. Wait, hold on. 3 o'clock. No, wait. It is 3. No, wait. 2 o'clock my time, so I will need to be home by 1 o'clock. So I will be streaming for a couple of hours tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, folks. This is the chance you can get my notifications every time I do a live stream or a video update, and also hit the bell notification icon and leave a comment in the section below this live stream and also on my videos. As always, thank you all for tuning in to tonight's Hurricane Tropical live stream. The title of this video, ending it on a serious note. This tropical storm just got worse, and a big hurricane may be coming with 85-mile-an-hour winds. As always, have a great night, and I will be back with you more tomorrow early afternoon with a live discussion on hurricane or a Tropical Storm Francine. It's going to be named anytime now. Tropical Storm Francine / hurricane headed for Louisiana. As always, have a great night and see you tomorrow.